Okay, I would say we definitely have a quorum, so let's open our January 26th, 2021 meeting. And to start with, I'll entertain a motion to waive reading of the remote meeting notification.
I'll make a motion to waive the reading of the remote meeting requirements.
I'll second.
Second, is there any discussion? Okay, roll call in favor. Tim,
Aye.
Marilyn,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Dick.
Dick Williams, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and Norm Anderson, aye. Okay, unless someone has someone extremely pressing, our first order is minutes of January 26th.
Make a motion to accept them.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, I have one that I would say is a correction. Under Bear Hill 2 / Brittenell Estates. That's on the third page of the minutes. In the little bullet that's at the close to the end of that, says we have a motion to accept the letter of agreement from Mr. Blair stating that no occupancy permits will be attained for Bear Hill. And then it says, nor building permits issued for Arrowhead Drive. I don't believe building permits was in that.
That is correct. It should not be building permits. But I like the idea.
Can I just ask, I know that there was something specific about Arrowhead that Tim had added to the motion. So if it's not building permits, what should it read?
Hey, Tim?
I thought I just covered occupancy permits, but oh god, that was 2 weeks ago, and a lot of drinking.
I can go back and check the recording, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Tim. I just know that we specifically said something about Arrowhead Drive. So if it's important, I just want to make sure I keep it in there correctly.
No, what? Because we were discussing no occupancy permits until the second egress was finished, not started. Correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes.
I believe that the notice of Arrowhead was because of a change of street name. I don't think that it was brought up with anything special other than it's part of the condition that Tim was discussing.
Okay, that
Yeah.
could well be.
Okay, so should I just remove that part completely and then stick with the rest of it?
I don't know. I like it. Can we keep it?
No, I think Mr. Blair did not agree to that no building permits.
Right.
I'm sorry, Senator. I forget that discussion.
Mhm.
No, I'm fine with removing it because the
Okay.
big thing is I didn't want the occupancy permits. I know we did discuss, Tamika, that there was a question that came up if the road was bonded and started, and I came back and said it's got to be completed.
Okay.
I don't know if that's in the minute. I don't have the.
Yes, it is in the minutes.
Okay.
From Grizzly to Brittenell Drive is complete.
And then we'll release the occupancy permit.
Mhm.
That's the word I'm looking for. Letter.
Okay. Boy, I guess I didn't even read this good enough again. Because in the paragraph above, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, seventh to eighth line down. Says board agreed to allow him to work on Bear Hill 2 with the understanding that no occupancy permits are to be attained or building permits issued for Arrowhead Drive. So that's another correction that needs to be made.
I might go back and listen to the recording again, only because and I'm not saying that I'm not wrong, but I must have put Arrowhead Drive for something, for some reason, and I just want to make sure that I note it if it was something of importance.
Yeah. Well, I know the thing is the Arrowhead Drive is not complete yet. They
That
only
is correct.
very short section of Arrowhead. So I can see why Arrowhead might have come into the discussion. What I'm not quite sure is
So I
how.
thought it had something to do, because isn't Arrowhead Drive supposed to eventually connect to Britnell Drive?
No,
Oh.
No?
that's
No.
Grizzly.
Okay.
What Arrowhead had, Tamika, is that that was Bear Hill 2, and part of what I remember, and again, I'm not sure if it's completely documented, it's when Neil Viner was on the board, that we were adamant about Bear Hill 2 could not be started until Britnell Estates through road had gotten out to Britnell Drive. That was. I'm not saying it's documented anywhere, but that was the intent.
Yeah. And I believe we allowed Clee to say that one or two houses on Arrowhead were actually a part of Bear Hill 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a Christmas present.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dick. That's exactly
Right.
what I was thinking.
So.
And then we got a Christmas present of 4 houses in Britnell Estates that it was built.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
I will make those changes.
okay. Very, very good. Let me see. Who made the motion to accept?
Dick made the motion and Marilyn seconded.
Okay. So, Dick, you want to amend your motion to accept with corrections?
I'll make that motion to accept with corrections.
Okay. And who seconded it?
I did, and I will make a motion to second the updated version.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, then roll call vote. Tim?
Aye.
Marilyn?
Aye.
Sean? Sean, are
Aye.
you there? Okay.
Yes, I'm here. Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
And Norm, aye. Okay, if I can keep myself a little bit organized here, which is not easy. Okay. Item 4. ANR signing requirements. Consideration in reducing the number of required signatures. Dave brought up to me that on ANR plans, apparently in the past, we were only requiring a majority of signatures on ANR plans. However, the last form that went into the courthouse said that there were 5 signatures required.
Oh boy.
And I believe it was the Bessies went in and tried to record their plan, and they wouldn't do it because it was missing 1 signature. So I guess the question is, do we want to go back to the 3 signatures required, which requiring all 5 could really sometimes be a holdup, because anytime someone is absent from a meeting, that kind of holds that. But I'll leave it up to the rest of the board. Comments?
I would like to go back to what we were doing, which was 3 or 4.
3. So
Yeah.
it's the majority of the board.
Right.
I concur with Marilyn.
Yeah, I agree. Are we gonna need? I'm sorry. Is she gonna need another signature on that, or I mean, what did he do about her situation?
Yeah. I don't know, Dave, can you comment on that?
Yes, as I understand it, with some communications between the closing attorney for Bessie and the Registry of Deeds, that if this fix is made and is forwarded to the registry, that would be enough signatures, just a majority, that they would not have to reapply for an ANR, and that would be sufficient. So based upon that, if the board could come in and sign a new form as soon as possible, that would be great. I was hoping to get this out by the end of the week. The town hall annex, once again, as the board knows, is open. So I'll be there in the morning. Folks wouldn't mind stopping by as soon as possible.
Norm,
Yeah.
now that I have heard what has happened, I'll go along with the majority, but in my opinion, I'd like to really push, everybody should sign this. Everybody should be on board, but you're right, not everybody can make all meetings.
Yeah, and it's a question, I guess, of expediencies as much as anything. And I agree with you there that, if we only require 3, that doesn't mean for anybody to say, yeah, they probably already got 3, so I don't need to go do it. That's not the idea.
That's correct.
So, okay. So let me see. My memory is fading here. Sean, did you comment on it?
Well, I'm just as long as we're still here in this COVID situation, I'm okay with the 3. But I kind of agree with Dick. I mean, once we get back together, I think it's required to have all signatures. But I'm fine with it in this time of days.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking. Just thinking back over years, because we have had some times when it has been really kind of tough to get all 5 signatures. But
Norm, I'm the perfect example. There were some times when I was in China, I couldn't do anything.
That's right. It's exactly a case like that. So, which, obviously from time to time we can change it. I suppose it might make things confusing, but if we do get out of the
I'm okay with it.
maybe we could move it up to 4, instead of the 3.
I guess do we need a motion, or do we just stop in and sign the form for Dave?
Well, let's do a motion just to make sure we get it official.
All right, I make a motion to update the requirement for ANR signatures from 5 to 3 required. The document that needs to be filled out and given to the Worcester Registry of Deeds.
Now, they need all 5 signatures, Norm?
Yes, on that they will need all 5. Because it takes the place of the thing that they compare.
Okay.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on that?
Why don't you
Hearing
guys
none.
just make it 1 signature? Why do you need just the chair? Can't you just have the chairman sign it?
No.
Why? That's what most towns do.
I
Only
don't,
the chairman has to sign it.
thank goodness we're not most towns, Clee.
Oh, you're killing me,
I want
Dick.
more people to be involved.
I can't, I'm having trouble hearing.
Too much stuff gets by.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you, every time I kind of let some people, not participate in something, I end up regretting it. So, anyway, no, I won't go with that. When we get to be as big as the city of Worcester, okay.
All right. Well, I'm just telling you, even Holden, the chairman, can just sign it.
Mm-hmm. Well, as Dick said, we're not holding.
Yeah. Roll call, vote.
Okay, roll call. Tim.
Aye.
Marilyn.
Aye.
Sean.
Aye.
Dick.
Aye.
Norm. Aye. The motion carries. Okay, now we get into a little bit tougher stuff. We have number 5. We have an ANR east side of Intervale Road. And let's see. I believe we have a before and after picture of this. They look a little bit different, but it looks like they are creating a couple of new lots.
I think it's just one, Norm. They're taking one big lot and making it into 2 lots.
Well,
Yeah, correct, Norm. This is Mark Elbag here on behalf of the applicant
okay,
merchant. It's creating a lot, one single lot.
okay. Is that lot A, is the land from that lot A coming out of more than one other lot?
No, it's just coming out of 157 Intervale Road, his house. It's actually on this plan you have on the screen. It's actually
Okay.
it's lot B.
Oh, okay, I'm looking at it backwards. It's lot B that you're creating.
Yep.
Okay, okay.
And then we also, with this ANR application, I'm sure you'll see it at a future meeting, is a application for common driveway special permit to serve these 3 lots, which is why the easements are delineated on this plan.
Okay. Let's see. I'm seeing with my less than perfect vision, I'm seeing what, 1.91 acres in lot B?
Yes, correct.
And 6237, something over, right around 200 feet of frontage, a little bit more.
Yeah, it's slightly more. I think the lines are 200 feet in width, so on that angle, it's a little bit more than 200.
Mhm. Okay. Any comments from the board?
Yeah, I'm looking at this. Mark, isn't this in the R60 zone? Because Sassawana is the delineation between R40 and R60, isn't it?
Yep, R60, acre and a half. Yep.
1.49 is not an acre and a half.
No, that's 1.91.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it said I couldn't see. I've got the small version. Yep.
Oh,
I
okay.
apologize. You're correct. You're right. Thanks.
And so,
No problem.
and if I make it more through the chair, so you're looking for a common driveway, a special, cause it's supposed to be is to serve 3 lots, right? A common driveway?
Yeah, the application is in. It went in at the same time as the ANR, but I think it takes a little bit more time to get it to you folks. But yeah, it's going to serve all 3 of these lots.
Oh, okay, all 3.
This
A and B.
right.
And
Currently, there is an approved common driveway right now for the 2 lots on either side of lot B. So this special permit will add lot B to basically a new common driveway special permit.
Okay. That's a
so
little,
is that, Mark? Is the one easement that's in there right now? Is that part of the original common driveway for the 2 lots, and then you're just doing that little branch off? Or
Yes, but because of the change in ownership, it's a little bit goofy. So there's 4 different easement areas. For example, easement area C is going to be granted to lot B, and then easement area B is going to be granted to both the existing land and lot A, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
But the attorneys are basically going to use this exhibit to create all the different easements between the 3 lots.
Can these easements, and I'm stealing from Dave, I'm gonna not admit that. Can these easements be created before the special permit?
They're in the special permit package, but they're not created because the land hasn't been transferred yet. Everything's still in the ownership of Rick Merchant.
So again, I'm stealing from Dave. Should we put proposed easement on here?
Easement
I
is
don't-
already.
Well, yeah, some of this is, there's already an easement here, and generally we put the term just easement on the plan, and the easement isn't created until the actual instrument is created. So I think
Easements
this is
don't require planning board approval. They're just 81Xs.
right. This is just on this plan for simplicity, so we're only recording one plan. You're exactly right. The easements don't even really need to be on this A&R plan.
You can record them anytime. You don't need to go to the planning board for those, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I could just jump in on this real quick. So while the easement's not necessary to be shown on the A&R plan, I guess the question is whether this A&R plan is also going to be reused for the special permit common driveway plan.
Yes, it is, and that's what's in the application package.
Right. So if the board was to cross out easement on here or disregard it altogether, that would really carry no consequence. I think the fact here is that the fact that easements are shown on this plan does not provide any rights to use a drive to access more than one lot.
Okay.
It's really just to keep all the titles clean and keep everything as neat and clean as possible at the registry. So all instruments will be created off of this one plan.
Right, and just to finish the thought, Mark, so currently, as the board recalls, it was a site plan granted
Yes.
2 years ago to allow for a 2-lot common driveway, which is what's currently in effect. So that is what's in effect now. The other common driveway can't go into effect until a special permit is granted.
Correct.
All right, I'm fine. I just was trying to make sure that so the special permit, when we do that, and that'll get recorded, that will actually have these easements on there that the planning board does have to review because it's part of a common driveway, correct?
So what will be recorded and what's in the application is this plan will be recorded.
Yeah.
Hopefully a special permit issued by the planning board town clerk will be recorded. And then the respective deeds and easements between the 3 property owners will be recorded. Okay. In the common driveway application, I've provided example easements and deeds.
Okay, good enough. Thanks.
Yeah. The thing is a common driveway special permit is not required for an easement.
No, but I thought we had to see how the common driveway is laid out as part of our special permit review.
Yeah, that's what review.
Yes. So in the special permit application, you'll have this plan along with the site plan.
Okay, good enough.
I make a motion to endorse.
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion? Any further discussion on this one? It appears that it certainly meets requirements.
Hey, Mark, I do have one question for you.
Yep.
Is that engineering stamp that you have? I can't see because I can't blow it up. Is that a mechanical engineer or is that a civil engineer?
So this plan, I'm a civil engineer, and this plan is generated and sealed by Mark Blanchard, professional land surveyor.
Perfect, thank you. Just a question.
You're welcome.
Is there anything further? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion and second to endorse. Roll call vote. Tim?
Aye.
Marilyn?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
Norm? Aye. Okay, that is Intervale.
Thank you, folks.
Okay, no problem.
Yep.
We now have an ANR on the end of Teresa Drive in Maple Hill Estates. We have a drawing, kind of interesting. We also, I thought I saw a letter. I thought I saw
I wrote a synopsis of what it was.
I don't see it here. Would you like to go over it?
Just cut in real quick. Sorry, the letter's on the screen right now. I think we're looking at paragraph 3, also on Maple Hill Estates. But Clea, if you're here, feel free to jump in.
So what I wrote, Norm, was first of all, I wondered why you guys didn't ask me why I asked for the A&R. So I put in my note, Dave Cizerco is going to take ownership of the open space. And the state of Mass, what you guys made me go through for the conservation restriction, does not allow fences in the open space. Dave wants to put up a fence in the back of all those lots. So I had to remove that small strip of land and I connected it to Dave's lot, as you see, and I'm gonna give that strip of land to Dave along with the open space. And he's gonna put, I'm gonna put the fence, but that's why that fence is going in. That's why that little strip of land has to come out, because I had to A&R it. I couldn't leave it in just as an easement. They wouldn't allow it. The state of Mass wouldn't allow it. So on the conservation restriction. So I had to take it out. That's why that's little pieces there. Then you also asked why this shows an easement and the other plan doesn't show an easement. Because Dave's gonna own the land, the residents or the town or someone is gonna need access to the detention pond. That easement just encompasses the detention pond.
Okay.
So I have a question, if I may, Norm.
Yep.
So Dave's going to own the open space, so it's not going to be open space anymore, as in for the public to go on whenever they choose.
Well, it's not open space. No, it's and I can and you and someone else can own it. That's part of the regulations. I can.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Somebody want to say something?
Go ahead.
And so you know, like over here at Central Tree Estates, my father wanted to own that, so we own it. Why, I don't know. But you know, in this open space, it actually protects Dave. His house is right behind it, so it gives him a
Yeah.
little bit of a buffer, but it's still going to be open space. It just, nobody will be able to go on the open space because it'll be owned by him. It's just not, it can never be developed, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no requirement that open space be open to the public.
It just needs not to be developed on.
Right.
Right, it can't be, cannot be developed.
I'm okay with that.
So, Clee, I've got, and you know, this is just a question from my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was, for fences, there was so much, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, space between where the fence is and a property line. So, you know, there was like 10 or 15 feet, because this is only 5 feet wide, is what I could tell.
That's correct. You don't need the property line. You could put the fence right on the property line. Some people just leave a space
Okay.
because they don't want to go into the other guy's land by mistake.
Yeah.
That's all. So you can but a fence can go on the property line or right in front of it, or this gives it room to go right behind it, actually, so it doesn't hit this guy's those people's piece of property. That's all.
No, I just, where I come from, there's got to be a 5 or 10 foot buffer between the fence and another person's property line. So in Mass, you can put it right on the property line, huh? I'll be darned.
I think so. I mean, I could be wrong, but I've seen people do it, so I think it's okay. But I'm not.
It was a question. The reason I was questioning, to make sure that you didn't do this A&R, and you got to come back to us with another A&R.
Good move. Yeah, good thought. I think I'm okay.
All right, good enough.
Just a point of curiosity, the area for this easement, is it being taken away from the amount of open space?
Yes, it's in the calculations on the plan.
Okay.
And the only other thing, Norm, that I was thinking is, just not to make this a pain in the butt, but Dave's going to have to do something, or Clee, you got to do something with that fence that's got the easement, so somebody, you know, I don't know if it's a gate, a locked gate or something like that. There's got to be access.
Yep. No, absolutely.
Okay.
There'll be a gate. You know, you can drive a dump truck through in a machine.
I just wanted to mention that because I know Gary got into some problems over on Brittenell West because they put a fence up and there was no access to the detention pond.
Well, was that on one of my sites?
Drive through it.
Take it right down.
Yep, that's what I was saying. A backhoe can go right through a nice chain link.
Yep.
All right, good enough, thanks.
Mr. Chair, may I ask the applicant something?
Yes.
Hi, Peter.
Hey, Clee. Actually, this is much of an asking a question as it is telling you that the conservation restriction is finally through town council review, and Conservation Commission accepted or approved the CR at its last meeting. So I'm getting ready to mail it to you.
Nice.
Get this email.
Okay.
You and George, I imagine, but.
Yeah.
And is George still at gmail.com?
GeorgeCritzy@gmail.com. The question is now, you can email it to me, but you got to send me the original to be recorded. You know that, right?
Well, this still needs to go back to, because there are mods, DCS still needs to reapprove it. And
Okay.
then everybody signs it and you do all the scan it, send it off, send it to the registry. You get to take care of all that then.
Okay. All right. That's great news, by the way. I can't believe we finally get that. I'll probably have all the houses built by the time it gets recorded.
Yeah. But I mean, actually, I do have a question. Does it mean that the property description is going to change ever so slightly, I assume?
In the open space, yes, and it's on here.
Yeah. Okay.
This
It's on here, but it's not in the CR that I have. That's all.
Well, it should reference a plan. So this is going to be the new plan. It'll be on record, and it'll reference this plan. So it'll work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will warn you that the only additional thing that we're really asking for in terms of documentation is as part of the CR to actually put the drainage easement on the CR as an encumbrance.
Okay, that's no problem. The drainage easement is part of this plan too. So
yes, it's part of the plan. It's just not part of the legal description yet.
Okay, yeah, we'll fix all that. Yeah.
All right.
George will do.
I'm sorry to have hijacked the meeting, gentlemen.
No problem.
No problem.
Are you sticking to the meeting, Peter, or are you taking off?
No, I'm sticking around.
Okay, because I got on Britnell, I got the, sorry to interrupt here, but I got the variance finally from the DCI. So.
That's good news.
Yes, that's great news.
Hey, Norm or Clea, I've got, this is just a curiosity question. Since Dave's owning this open space, this isn't for the town or in this case, Conservation Commission to keep up. He's in charge of maintaining this whole open space, correct? Because it's conveyed in his name?
Yeah, it's his. Yeah, he's got it. And he'll have to pay real estate taxes on it.
Okay. It was just curiosity because I'm going like, it'll be his dump truck going through his gate to clean up.
Well, except for the drainage easement part.
Yeah, that belongs to the residents of the.
Correct. I'm just saying once you cross lot 3, which is where the easement is, he's responsible for all that open space and anything like that needs cleaned up or taken care of.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Good enough. That's all I was curious about.
Okay. Do we have any more questions? Excuse me, comments, discussion?
Make a motion to endorse.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Once again, any further discussion? I think we've vetted this one pretty well. Okay, hearing none, roll call. Tim?
Aye.
Marilyn?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
Norm? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, again, get myself back together.
Dave, would you please send me an electronic copy of that plan when you get an opportunity? Thank you.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Or Clee, anybody can.
I can do it too, either one. Want me to send it, Dave, or are you going
If
to
you
send
want
it?
to take care of it.
I asked it today. I asked Dave, so we'll, yeah.
Okay.
Great, thanks.
Okay, next is Maple Hill Estate Subdivision. I don't think we have anything more.
You are correct. There were no consulting engineer reports received on this matter. So there's nothing to update the board on at this point.
Okay. Anyone have any discussion points on Maple Hill? Anyone else?
No.
No. Okay, then onward and upward. Brice Lemon Estates updates. We have a bunch of stuff regarding Brice Lemon, and I don't know, just taking this kind of in order that I have in my packet anyway. We do have a copy of as-built. I'm assuming this is from phase 1. This is back from November 6th.
Norm, if I could just jump in real quick.
Yeah.
As the board requested at the last meeting, we invited Carl Holtzman, the consulting engineer. So Carl's available for items 7, 8, and 11 on the agenda. I would just ask that item 11 be taken out of order to try to work it in with 7 and 8, if you don't mind.
Okay, I think we can do that.
Thank you.
So, I don't know, I guess, at least my question regarding phase 1 is that, once again, it's surprising it's February, but we're getting darn close to, I think, probably they're going to be looking for acceptance at town meeting. And I guess, I don't know, Carl, you're there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
How are you?
If you could just see if you can refresh at least my memory, and I would imagine everybody else's, as to whether there were and what were any outstanding items, or if
Sure.
anything has developed.
So I had done a review back in November, put out a list of items. It was a review of the as-built plan, and then also a review of the site itself. There's a new surety estimate that's come out that reflects the outstanding items that need to be done in the field, as well as updating the acceptance plans. Since the report came out back in November, there's been a couple things done here and there, but I haven't seen a comprehensive response to the memo. And I don't know if Cleve wants to speak as the timeline on that.
We should be, we should be finishing the, any of the plan as-built things that needed to be done, like add a line here, a number this, or, you know, those type of things should be done Thursday or Friday and submitted to you. That'll only leave, the only thing outstanding between the board and the numbers, I put some numbers on my email to you guys that needed to be discussed. And one was number 5, I think, and I can't read, I just don't remember, from Carl's list that need to be discussed with the planning board. 5, 6, 9, 12, 17, and 18. The rest of the stuff I'll have all squared away, but I need discussion with you on those.
Well, what is what's the board's pleasure at this point? You want to try and discuss those?
I don't think it'll take long. I just think I need your opinion on them.
Let's take a look at them.
Okay. Okay, number 5 says it's recommended the board be provided with a certification by Mass registered structural engineer that the arch culvert in Sedona Circle was constructed per design. I guess, well, Clea, I'm going to say, what's your problem with it?
Well, I'll tell you, the wall that we put up, and when you first come off of Sharnock Hill to block the wetlands, I was required to get a certification by a structural engineer on that, and I did. But the the arch culvert and the other culvert with the walls on them, you guys, during the process of getting this plan approved, said that you wanted a structural engineer to certify that they met Mass DOT standards, which I gave you from Mike Maroney. So there was nothing done. No, the guy, in other words, the structural engineer that designed this was with Ready Rock. He didn't watch them put the wall up. because I didn't know that I needed a structural engineer to do it. If you guys are hell bent on having me get one to certify that the walls were constructed properly, I will do it. But I did get from Mike Maroney, and I submitted it to the board way back when I first did it, that they were built in according to Mass DOT specs, and that I did submit. This is asking for something a little bit over that. That's all.
No, Clee, didn't Mike? And tell me if I'm wrong. Didn't Mike certify that the design met Mass DOT, but he didn't sign off that it was built per the plan? That's where
I think you're right. I think that's right. Yeah, it was designed, and well, I don't know what he wrote in his letter now, but you're right. He did. I can I mean
what Carl's asking for, which is I'm used to seeing even in my world, is that you got to have somebody sign off that it was constructed per the plan. And I mean, I don't know what the rest of the board is, but I'd like to make sure that what's there is what was built. And I'm not saying, Clee, and this is again my opinion, that the guy's got to be there during construction. He just got to make sure that the guy putting it in followed the plans, and then he's got to sign off with it, because the PE doesn't have to be there when he's just certifying that it was built per the design. That's what his stamp is for.
I can't read the whole sentence, but if that's what Mike needs to, he may have done that. I'll read that again, but I did get, I don't know whether he said built or whether he said design, but I'll get a copy of the letter and I'll take a look at it. But so you guys want me to get structure, the arch culvert was constructed. It doesn't matter about the wall, it's the arch culvert itself.
Well,
The wall too. There's any wall in the subdivision, Clee, there's a condition that you need a certification that it was built per plan. But yeah, I think Mike Maroney submitted a certification that the arch culvert was designed to meet DOT standards, and what we're recommending is that someone certify that it was built for the plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta figure out how to get that done, because I know none of them were there, but I guess Mike could come out and look at it and make a determination. I mean, everything's wide open. You can look at both sides of it. So
yeah, and Clee, in my world now with gas, our PEs don't have to be there when it's being put in. They just have to certify that it was installed correctly, and that's with the drawings and any procedures and any notes from the installation contractor. And then they put their stamp on it, basically blessing it, and that's the end of it.
okay, all right, okay, those, we can move on from there. I get what you want, and I think I can get that done. Okay.
Carl, am I right in what I'm trying to explain?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. At the end of the day, what I think the town needs to have is somebody saying that it was built the way it was supposed to get built.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I don't want to separate the retaining walls from the actual thing, because it's really one unit. The retaining walls are all part of it. I'll have to just get Mike to say, or some structural engineer to come out and do an inspection and say that it was built according to plan.
Yep.
okay.
All right, that takes care of 5 and 6.
Right, that takes care of 5 and 6. Next one, I think you said was number 9.
Yeah, number 9. So the way we've done it in all the other subdivisions, and I think I ran this by you guys ahead of time, was 2 per lot. We did 2 plans, 2 trees per lot. The plans approved that they have to be every 50 feet. It hasn't been done that way in the past. So, you know, we were doing 2 per lot. Some people that ripped them out already, I mean, they just threw them away. I mean, they called the police on us when we were putting them in. So, you know, I just, those, I don't know that you'll ever get them to put them back. Because, you know, what happens is the trees end up on their property. And if they don't want them, they can take them out. And these people, you know, they spend a lot of money on landscaping, and they don't want trees in the middle of them, of their yard that were really bent, some about it.
Yeah. If I may, Norm
Yep.
and Clee, we did that for you for Bear Hill, where some of the people didn't want trees, and I agree. If you know if you can, if there's a way you could ask the homeowner if they want a tree and they want one, and two are required to get put in there, that's good. I just think it would be, I don't know how much a tree costs, but it would be a waste of money for you to put trees in there and for the homeowner to say, well, we don't want them, and have them pay to take them out. That just seems a huge waste.
It
So
is,
I'm okay with you not putting trees in if they don't want to.
so as
I
far as,
but you know, yeah.
well, here's what Norm has always whacked me with in the past is, you know, they want, once it's built, they want a nice row of trees on either side.
Yeah.
The town, the planning board, and I understand that. So we try to do them. I'm trying to do them, but the types of tree, I'm trying to do them as we do the lawns. But the types of trees that we need to get, you know, you get it like you can get a whole bunch of them in the spring or in the fall, but they don't seem to be available during the year when we're doing the lawns. So that's what happened with it. But the reason there isn't is what Kyle calls out is approximately 56 trees. The reason there's only 22 is we're only doing 2 per lot, and the ones that didn't have them there are just ripping them right. I mean, they just ripped them out. That's really what it is.
So Norm, what do we do with that? Because we've got a requirement and a plan, and I agree with Clee and Sean. I mean, if they don't want them, I know we like it to look nice, but we can't force a homeowner to put a tree. So what do we do to cover our if you want to call it terms of what we require in the plan, but yet, you know, not hold this over Clay for, you know, finishing it. That's what I'm struggling with right now.
Yeah, and you know, how do we accommodate, but also, you know,
Waiver.
keep some viability for what we have as a requirement.
Yeah, that's
how many trees do you have planted now on phase
Well,
one?
Kyle says 22. What are you saying? We retired. What are you saying here, Kyle?
Woodside requires 56 approximately. Sedona requires approximately 22.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what we've done is we put in 2 per lot. So there's, I think, 33 lots or 31 lots in that first phase. So there should be approximately 60 some odd trees there. When this is calling for 78. So there's only definitely going to be 60 or 62. And then the other thing is that I know of at least 2 or 3, at least a couple of people have asked not to have them put in. Problem is they really should go in the easement, which is the 50-foot easement for the road. But there's not enough room behind the sidewalk to put a tree within the easement. So you end up putting them on the people's land, and if they don't want them, I just rip them out, you know. And I'll tell you, it becomes an issue.
You know what, Clea, I think the best way to handle this is make Dick happy and plant the other 16 trees in the open space.
There's so many trees in the open space now, I don't know where I'd put them.
I think a better place would be behind third base on Memorial Field.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, as far as those that handling that, you know, I would say that it's de minimis enough, and maybe you guys come out and take a look at the trees that are there and the ones that have been taken out, and if you think it's definitely 2 per lot.
I'm just Clee and through Norm, I'm trying to figure out how to, without having a hearing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get away from. Is I don't want to give an exception to something that we've tried that we had in the boilerplate, but I agree that it's crazy to try to fulfill this if it's not making sense to do it.
How about this, if I may, through the chair? Have Clee submit a waiver request. Is that something that it can be done, Dave?
Just don't know which lot is what.
Yeah, see,
Well, for the whole, a waiver request for the whole division.
so, yeah, but then we're back to the
Say.
hearing.
Yeah. No, that's not gonna be a way to go on this one.
Yeah, that's what.
Somebody's fire alarm's going off.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's just my phone telling me that there's an emergency at the office. Do we get like Norm? Can we do a written exception to the boilerplate saying that the applicant has tried to fulfill the requirement and here's what he's fulfilled and the planning board accepts that? Is that something without, because Clee's not ignoring what we've asked him to do, it's just it doesn't make sense physically and if you want to call it homeowners participation.
Wow, a regulation that doesn't make sense. Who would have ever thought?
Yeah, in a
That's
way.
Matt.
I don't know. I've got maybe a little bit of a wild idea.
All right.
People may not want a tree in their front yard, but they might want it in their backyard.
I'll give them the trees. I don't care about that.
Well, that's what my suggestion was going to be, that if they don't want a tree planted in their front yard, that you offer them literally a tree to plant wherever they please.
I'm happy to do that. In fact, I'm sure I have, but I just, the people don't want I know of one person who just didn't want, he called the police to get off my land. I mean, that's seriously, cops showed up.
The cost to put an ad in for another hearing and the time it would do to do another hearing would be more cost effective to do that or to do the trees.
Oh, no, I'm happy to do that. In fact, I probably have. The people that we would offer that to them. Here, just take the trees. I'll plant them wherever you want. But the purpose of the regulation is so that the trees go along the side of the road. So it gives you, makes a nice look along the side of the road. They're supposed to go in the easement, but what happens is they end up, when they get bigger, the roots end up popping the sidewalk. So it just doesn't work. You know what I mean?
What about shrubbery? I'm just joking.
Does it make sense? And I know this is a pain in the butt, Cleve, but does it make sense the 31 people, homeowners, basically just get a freaking sign off saying yes, no trees, and we're done with this?
Well, I'll tell you what they did in Holden when we got into a big jam with the customers. They just waved trees on their lots. But the first sentence says requires an average spacing of 50 feet. Some people would end up with 3. Some people end up with more. I mean, some people end up with just 2. But the 2 per lot has been acceptable right along. So as long as that's acceptable, then I've just with the exception of a couple of lots, the trees are in. But the big purpose of this, or at least I find from Carl's statement, is that it should have 78 trees, and there's only, I think, 60 or 62. We might be missing 2 or 4 trees. You know what I mean? But 2 per lot always seemed to work in the past, especially in an open space subdivision. It's probably more than enough. At Bear Hill, that's what you let me do, and that was a conventional subdivision.
Do we need to? This sounds like an update to our subdivision open space regs.
Yeah,
Both regs.
at some point.
I so move that Dave ought to write this down and we bring it up and let's talk about it at another time.
Yeah.
But what
You
do we
guys can
do?
handle that any way you want, but as long as I don't have to put trees every 50 feet and I can just do the two per lot, I've pretty much taken care of that.
I don't know how to get around this, Norm. That's the tough part I got now, because
Well, this is just plain downright dangerous, but for, phase one, can we simply say that, essentially, well, it's not to the letter, but essentially the requirement has been met?
I'm okay with that. I'm just,
I would,
Like I say, that's a little bit dangerous.
well, if I remember the subdivision, the planning board has latitude. So, I mean, do we say that the intent of the what's the word I'm looking for?
Regulation of the bylaw?
Yeah, well, not yeah. The intent was met.
Okay, that would be another way of putting it.
I mean, I think that I mean, we do have latitude as the board to make those decisions. So I think we make it,
Mhm.
and it's a case by case basis. And this subdivision's a case that we're making that decision on.
Dick, did you have something?
I like that. I think that's the way to go.
Okay.
I like
You
it.
Okay.
So Carl, number 9's fulfilled.
Cross that off the list, thank you.
Okay.
What was the next one? 11?
12, I think, I can't
12,
remember.
I think is what I saw.
Norm, it's Tamika. If I may, do you
Yep.
think we should do that as a motion?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
No, it can't hurt.
I'll make the motion on Brice Lemon phase 1, or should I do it for all phases, guys? And
No, because nothing's been done. There haven't been no trees in the others.
all right, I'll make the motion for phase 1 that the intent for street trees that are required at an average spacing of 50 feet has been met for phase 1. I should know. Let me rephrase that. The intent has been met.
Let's add to the satisfaction of the planning board.
I'm fine with that. I'll take that additional motion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, I think that covers it. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing
Would
silence.
you like to put in something like at the request of the residents? You don't want to get too complicated.
Yeah, 'cause then you could say, someone could come back and say, well, what residents, you know?
Yeah. And we don't know which ones, and
No,
you know.
just, to the satisfaction of the planning board, that it shows that he asked, we said that we're satisfied with what he has done, and then that's it. All bases are covered, I would imagine.
Okay, anything else? Anything further? Okay, roll call again. Tim?
Aye.
Marilyn?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
Norm? Aye. Okay, that was number 12. Oh, excuse me, number...
Yep, 12. You're right.
We're on to number 12. Passing test results for blah, blah, blah.
Carl,
Mr. Chairman, if I can cut in here. So I spoke to Joe Buckley about this one a while back, and we were going to go up with Tom Larson and just take a look at the manholes. They don't have to be retested, but we were just going to look at them. That didn't happen. I guess Tom was sick one day or something like that. But
Joe and Tom.
What's
yes,
that?
they left you out, Carl. Joe and Tom did that the other day.
Okay, good enough.
And what Joe was concerned about was infiltration, and nothing was coming in, so he's fine with them. At least what Tommy told me. I didn't speak to Joe directly, but from what Tom said, Joe was fine with those manholes.
Okay, I'll just confirm that with Joe.
Okay, yeah, please do.
And Carl, that's what I was going to ask. If we could just get an email for the file to put in there, that in my opinion, that knocks off number 12 from Joe.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So when I talk to Joe, eventually this memo gets updated, and I'll summarize how that comment gets resolved.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
17. Oh, I remember this one.
Yeah, I had said back, the DPW, I believe, approves all driveways where they go. So they would have known that. That was back in Gary's world, but I'm pretty sure that he knew they were close. And we do know of that regulation, you know. So
what do we do to fix this?
it happens all the time. I mean, not all the time, but it does happen quite a bit.
Is this, Norm, and Carl, you might help out too, is this another letter from Joe Buckley that's acceptable, that catch basin being that close to the driveway?
He has seen them.
Yeah, I'm sure, like Cleve said, I'm sure the DPW saw it at some point. Whether it was Gary or Joe, you know, whatever, it was the DPW, so.
I just basically want to cover our section saying that, yes, it is within 10 feet, but the DPW accepts it, and I think that covers the planning board. That's my opinion, I think.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to move the driveways regardless, or the catch basins. I think it is what it is. It's just a matter of the board being aware that the driveways are there and they're within 10 feet of a catch basin, that's all. But yeah, I can talk to Joe about it.
I'm okay with it.
I just want to make sure that, knowing what's going on in that subdivision, I just want to make sure we got our I's dotted and T's crossed from the planning board's perspective. So that's why I guess I'm pushing more to make sure that the DPW chief we're not making decisions for his road that he's going to have to maintain. So if he's okay with that, of us being inside of our subdivision regulations, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm thinking 10 feet seems like a bit much. I know one of the things that I think this was to try to avoid was very short pieces of berm.
Yeah.
You know, between a catch basin and a driveway, but 10 feet is a long ways. And, you know, I guess, I can see particularly in open space subdivisions where we have, flag lots where frontage on a flag lot can be as little as 40 feet.
Yeah.
That means you could end up with 3 driveways pretty darn close together and almost no good place to put a drain.
It all depends where they fall, you're right.
So, okay, we'll see if we can get something from Joe on that.
Yeah.
The next one's the biggie.
That was what?
Number 18.
Number 18.
Denied.
I figured you'd say that.
This is beginning to sound like Deer Run.
Oh God, don't ever compare me with that guy.
Clea, I think it's real simple. You just need to pay the private property owner for the use of his property, and I'm thinking he's need about $500,000.
Yeah, well, that's, you know,
for a 20-year lease of using his property for the pump station.
I can cut off half the driveway, but it would be, and put it in front of it. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask the homeowner there if he cares if, you know, I just move the easement out a little bit. There's a drainage easement right now. Is that why you say half the driveway? Because the driveway is under. There's a drainage easement that surrounds that pump station, Carl. You see that?
I don't have the plan right in front of me, but I know there's a drainage easement in that area.
So that drainage easement can serve as both, you know, but there's still a little piece of the driveway that is on that gentleman's land.
Yeah.
I don't know that, you know, that, like I said, I could put the parking area right in front of it, And then you can always walk into it from the side, but it's nicer to have the driveway there. I'm gonna ask him, but what if he says no? I mean, I don't know what to do there.
I think that's another one for Joe, to be honest with you. If you can't do it, see what's acceptable to Joe. Because ultimately he's the one that needs to get in the building there.
Okay. I'll talk with Joe about it.
Say, this sounds like one that you need to get on right away.
I've been on it. I'm just scratching my head trying to figure out what to do with it.
As Clea, has Joe given you any feedback on this?
Not on that one, no.
Okay.
I don't know what happens when you do that, you know what I mean?
What's on the other side of the pumping station, Clay?
I'm sorry?
What's on the other side of the pumping station?
Both sides, there's a house on either side. And behind it. But there's a driveway, there's a drainage easement that goes way around it. It just missed the driveway just missed it by a piece, a little sliver.
Could
I'll
you
figure it out.
use that driveway? I mean, that pump station, if I remember walking, it's literally almost on the road, correct?
Yes, yeah, correct.
I'm okay if that driveway is reduced to a walkway, if Chief Buckley's okay with it.
I'll ask him. I'll
Yeah.
get on that right away. I know that was gonna be a little bit of work, so I'll take care of it.
All right, good.
And that's that.
Okay, that's where we are. Carl, do you have any other comments or thoughts?
No, not on that.
Well, on anything on phase one of Brice.
Oh, no, as I mentioned, there's an updated surety estimate that was included with, let's see, I put out a bunch of memos last week, so you guys should have that. Most of that includes street trees, which was bring that amount down, obviously, and then some other stuff that needs to be done. That's the gist of phase one.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could reduce that by the street trees now, while we're at it. And the access mod to the rail trail, Carl, I can't fix that. I mean, the DCR won't let me. And Dick was gonna talk to him.
So that was just an allowance. We had talked about that at the site walk. I didn't know what the board, if they had any further discussion on that. So I put it in there and figured that if they wanted to amend it, they could amend it, as part of the review of the surety estimate too.
Didn't we not, how it makes a left-hand turn? Can you not make it part of, as you're coming into it, come back about 12 feet and just go down on the side of the bank instead of making that left-hand turn to go down?
That's the only area that they'll let us access the rail trail. That's in their 200-foot zone, Dick, so I'm really restricted in there. They won't let me do anything except for right where that little walkway, that little area, that pathway that already exists.
I hate this COVID crap. I've been wanting to get out there to Ocam, but they're never there when I stop.
No, they don't even go to their office.
Yeah. I'm going to keep trying. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, but why hold the surety on me? I can't do anything about it. If I can fix whatever I need, I did whatever you guys asked me to do. If you can't hold it, for the surety, he's holding surety on it. Like in the trees, there's about 20% of this is trees. So maybe we, if Kyle's all right with it, we can, and you guys are all right with it, you can take out the trees and just get the surety down to what needs to be done.
I don't know. This sounds like a donation to the Orphan and Widows Fund.
Yeah, I made enough of those. Is that all of it, Dave? I can't see that whole thing. I don't have it in front of me, but.
Yeah, they're talking about some bounds to be set.
we're working on that right now. Julian's digging them out.
Mhm. One of the things I'm just kind of curious about is they have nothing down there for cleaning catch basins.
I cleaned them.
Yeah, I know, but that was last fall.
Yeah.
And the roads will have been salted and sanded and everything else between then and now.
No, I don't use sand. No, I
You don't-
only use salt now.
You only use
There won't even be any. But I mean, if you want me to take a look in there again, then this is before the meeting, I will. Happy to do it. But I had them clean with a vac truck.
Yeah. If you're not spreading any sand, okay.
Nope, I'm not. Just salt.
Yeah, but Norm, and this is just my opinion, there's been a lot of runoff in that area in the last 6-8 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I just like, and this is my opinion, just take another look to make sure that they're not overloaded with silt and other stuff.
I will. I can tell you they're not, because the runoff doesn't get to phase 1. It's in phase 2.
Okay.
But I'll take a look. I'm sure they're right though. These guys, Helgeson charged me a lot of money because those catch basins were really full of shit. To be honest with you,
All right.
they need to be cleaned.
Okay, Dick, you say you still want to try working on getting something on that rail.
I just wrote down, I'm gonna try to get a hold of John Scanlon and have a talk with him.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so I guess probably leave that one as it stands. However, as long as I guess somehow or other we're just automatically onto this bond thing. Oh, I'm just kind of looking here. Like I say, I tend to get very.
Man, those streetlights are expensive. We need to get those included in subdivisions from now on.
Right.
Dream on.
Mhm.
All
Solar
right.
power.
Do we have any interest in removing the $1,350 for street trees from this bond estimate?
There's 4,600 in the top one too, Norm. There's 4,650 in Woodside Ave, and there's 1,350 in Sedona.
Okay, sorry about that. Didn't notice that one.
Norm, I'm okay since the motion passed. Let me rephrase that. And since Carl's here, was there any? How am I going to ask this? And Clee, maybe this is a question to you too. Is there any trees that still have to be planted on Sedona or Woodside that you haven't got to, the 2 per lot?
Nope, all done.
Okay. And I want to say excluding anybody that's ripped them out or wouldn't allow them.
I would, yeah, no, I mean, let's say it this way. If someone comes running to the board and says, I need my trees, I'll put them in, but I'll tell you what, I know we've already done the 2 per lot.
Well, okay, the only thing I was going to ask for, and I know it's not part of this bond, is as part of the drawing update, can you make sure that the drawing reflects the 2 trees per lot?
Yeah, I noticed that Carl wrote that they're not on the as-built. I already told, Julian already told me he'd take care of that.
I just want to make sure everything matches up and there's no questions.
Yep.
All right, good enough. I don't have a problem taking them out, Norm.
Okay. Rate raises a little bit of a complication here. So I don't know. I guess first of all, let's just formally move on to the bond reduction for phase 1. Okay. So we're out of the rest of the review of Brice Lemon. Okay, we're just looking at the bond estimate now. Okay. I don't have any problem with reducing the 4,650 and the 1,350 However, it gets a little more complicated than that, because if you look all the way down at the very bottom of the summary, there is a subtotal, which is 16,925, that's what we would subtract that from. But then we have to take 10% of that new number and 15% of that new number and add it all up to come up with a new grand total.
Carl, can you do that in the morning?
Yeah, we can do that. It's no problem.
I mean, do we need it approved on this meeting, Norm, or can it?
Well,
You can just instruct Kyle to take it out and send you a new sheet.
I hate to do this, but I suppose we could approve, as long as we do the motion correctly, approve it contingent upon receiving a new grand total from Quinn Engineering.
25. And how much? So we taking out 1350, and what's the other one?
4650.
4650. So that's $6,000. That's 1095. 10,925. And so 10% of that is 1,093, and 15% of that is 15 and 47, 15, 47, yeah. So those are the new numbers. So the grand total is 5. Wow, I'm doing math old school, so tell all those kids that they're idiots.
Norm was a math teacher.
Yeah, I know. But I don't have a calculator handy.
Here's the numbers I've got. I've got for subtotal is 10,925. 10% contingency is 1093. 15% is 1547. And the grand total for the bond is 13,505.
I got 13,565. How did I get that?
Yeah, I can't write. $13,565.
That doesn't sound right. Excuse me.
What?
Because if we're taking off 6,000 minus 25% of 6,000, we're taking off 4,500. 4,500 from 21,000 is 17, 16 and change for a total. Unless my math is way off, which it could be.
Well, no, you're taking. It's actually 6,000 we're reducing because it's 1350 and 4650.
Oh, actually, I know where my math is wrong, but it still feels okay. Whatever. I'll be quiet again. Sorry.
No. If anybody wants to check me like the math teacher, then he can give me an A or flunk my butt.
I think Tim has it right.
Okay, the 1,925 is definitely right, which means the 1,093 has to be right. So 9.
Lee, if you didn't use a calculator, I'm saying you got some German in you, buddy.
Me?
Because all German farmers can do math in their head quickly.
1,093 times 1.5 is 2,186.
I still get 13,656.75. 13,656.75, and I am using a calculator on my phone.
Okay.
So 1638.75 is 15% of 10,925.
What did you get for? I got 1547. So maybe
Yeah, 16. Well, 10,925 times 15% is, according to this. Hold on, 10,925 times 15% is 1638.75.
Okay. So
1638.75 plus 1093 plus 10,925 is 13,565.75.
what I get to.
Close enough.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the bond reduction for phase one of Brice Lemon to 13,565.75, pending confirmation from Carl Helfrich?
Also move.
Okay, I think I heard a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing silence, roll call vote. Tim,
Aye.
Marilyn,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Dick,
Aye.
Norm, aye. Okay, there's phase one.
Oh,
Mr. Chairman,
Phase reduction, phase two.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
it's the town administrator. Can I just ask one question?
yes.
Based upon the conversation I just heard, is everyone comfortable that, both Blair and the board and the consultant, that all of this work will be done in such time that we can get this on the town meeting for the annual town meeting? So we can get it accepted? Is everybody comfortable that they can move this through in such a way as that we're not going to be last minute trying to put something together for the town meeting?
Clee, I will hang you if that happens.
I will hang myself if that happens. No, I mean, we hope to have everything completed on this. I'll have to work on the easement really hard, but other than that, I should have everything completed hopefully this week. So that should give.
And I do believe the board is waiting for some information from Joe Buckley.
Yeah, but not that shouldn't take long.
Okay. And I just want to make sure the last minute we're not scrambling to put this on the agenda, Blair, because you know what that's like. We kind of went through that the last round for the special town meeting. I want to make sure we're prepared well in time so there's no issues when we get to town meeting.
Ron, have you been to one of our town meetings in the last couple of years where this has happened?
Yeah, I've heard the rumors, so to speak.
Yeah. The only thing that we just, I don't think anybody can really guarantee anything on is that number 18.
Yeah,
the pump station.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work. I think, Larry, you have to have that discussion with Joe tomorrow, and I don't know exactly how you're going to get the resident to allow it, but
it was there when he bought it, so it's not like he bought like something he didn't see.
Yeah.
We put it in we obviously put the driveway a little bit. We're talking about maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 feet of driveway. If I have to take it off, I'll take it off. But I don't know. I've never talked to the gentleman myself. He dealt with my salespeople and my brothers. But I'll talk to the people and hopefully they'll be okay with it. If not, me and Joe will just come up with another way to handle it. That's all.
Clee, and you
Hey, let me know
why
if
we
you
want
should-
the requirement
Joe's
of
been
putting
very
in metal
responsive.
stakes at the bounds.
I'm sorry, Norm, I didn't hear that.
You're wondering why we want you to put in metal stakes at the corners of the lots.
Yeah, no, I'm dying that you want to do that. That's
yeah. Thank you. I just wanted to kind of follow up with that because I just don't want to. I heard a lot of grief kind of going into the special time meeting. We were trying to get this done. It wouldn't work out. So I want to make sure it all kind of goes smooth for the process. But thank you, everybody. It was really nice to see everybody working together to get this done.
Yeah, the rest of these are really punch list items.
Yeah.
Okay, are we then on to phase 2?
Yeah.
And Clee, unless you have any comments.
I didn't look at it real close, but I noticed he reduced it by a couple $100,000, so that made me happy. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's fine.
The only thing, Norm, that I've got, and I don't see it in here, is, and maybe it's being fixed. It's that erosion issue that we have, and I know, Clee, you're working on it. Should we have any retention for that?
Well, it's not eroding as much as it is flooding. I mean, I don't see any real runoff.
Well, actually, when I was out there, and I could be wrong, Norm, you could help me out. The runoff that was coming down the driveway was eroding away the manway, or it looked like it dropped or been, that manhole that was at the edge of the driveway. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
Actually, I think that had been that way even before those houses were put in.
Okay, all right, good enough.
Okay, that's the best of my recollection.
Okay.
Well, once again, I've just got to go back to our jurisdiction on that. I don't think we can require bonding on that.
It has to do with the road, doesn't it? I could say you're right on any of the properties. I have no issue. That's not our jurisdiction. But when it comes to runoff undercutting a road, I think that is ours. Somebody can tell me I'm wrong. I have no problem with that.
it's not undercut. There's a subdrain there that I can tie into, but it's not undercutting the road, Tim. I wouldn't, if it undermined the road, it would be caving in. It's not that. Norm's right. That manhole was like that ahead of time, and I think we've already fixed that when we did that guy's lot. But I mean, I know that it's an issue. I'm
good.
I'm gonna fix it. I just can't do it in the winter. I have to wait.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, you got to wait till springtime. I'm fine with that. I didn't know if there needed to be any contingency money for that. That's what I was basically asking.
The other thing I want you just to read. I did write a pretty good synopsis on what I was gonna do in an email back to Dave today, so you can take a look at that too. And it should be pretty comprehensive. It should fix it.
Yeah, I saw that. And it's kind of one of these things where I'm sure the homeowners are impatient. And I do understand, yes, in the middle of winter, you can't really do that stuff. It's unfortunate that it happened to start with. Like I say, I guess I'm going to say that the one thing that just totally boggled my mind was having that crushed rock filled swale coming right down into the end of that one guy's driveway.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that, unless you pipe that right underground.
It's just the way it worked out. I know, and we can fix that if we put the riprap all the way down. That's what we're gonna do. It'll fix it.
So you're gonna have to tear up someone's yard.
But I have an easement there. That easement is in place to carry that water.
Okay.
Put that on, on purpose. And there's a lot of water coming down there. And I'm going to redirect some of it. But I've got to get that area fixed, and I'll make it right. It'll be right when I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of water on top of that hill. It's all coming down. I got to cut it off, redirect it into that swale. And then the water that's coming into the swale is coming from all the way behind lot 34, which is that house with the big slope behind it.
Yeah.
And then that's all coming down that swale now. We're building a house on 35 now. We're gonna redirect some of that water into there's a tie into the subdrain there. We're gonna redirect a lot of that water there, which will give that swale enough capacity to pick up the water that's on the top of the hill, and we'll run it down, and that should take care of the water problem. What's running down the hill is running onto the people's yards. So if I can cut it off at the top and get it over to that swale, it should fix everything.
Please, is that going to rub? And again, I'm not. This is where maybe Carl can help me. But is that going to run underground or above ground?
All above ground. It'll be like a swale. It'll be a diversion ditch with lined.
All right, because I've seen that when I saw the video, those velocities coming out in the road. It'll be like a fire hose coming out on the road on a tough rain day.
Yeah, you know what it is too, Tim. At that time, the ground was frozen.
Okay.
Which made it a lot hard, and there was no vegetation up top. to stop it. So, I mean, because it was all wide open from us working there. Conditions will change, and it'll make a difference when we get up there. It really will. I know those people are getting overwhelmed with water, and we're going to take care of it. I just
All
can't
right.
do it right now. That's all.
We'll check it in the spring.
Yeah, we'll make it late spring.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Clee, will this require changes to the stormwater plan or any water runoff calculations?
No, it's overland flow mostly, and it's not caused by impervious. As much as it is just, there's just groundwater. I mean, and sheet flow, basically. But when the stormwater management, Peter, is calculated based on impervious, which is sidewalks, roads, driveways, rooftops, and things like that. Kyle can back me up on that, but as long as the water doesn't leave the property at a higher rate or velocity or quantity that it was in places that it was before, and it's being controlled, then it should be, everything should stay in that.
I agree with that. I guess the core of my question is there more water than had been anticipated? And is that, surface water, is that fundamentally part of the causal issue here?
Well, Kyle could probably answer that better than me, but I don't think so. I think it's, a lot of it's, the water just comes out of that bank and it's just groundwater. I mean, it's just groundwater that you can't really control. The sub drains are taking care of a lot of it, on the side of the road, but it's got to be dealt with. Sheet flow, it just has to be dealt with, in a different way.
Right, in terms of you're just redirecting it. You're not changing the amount of water at the end of the day.
I mean, that existed there before and it ran the same way. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Peter, it's Carl. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself, Carl?
Good, thank you. So, yeah, I think what it is just when you design the subdivision, you sort of assume the water just sheet flows over the lots, and then once the lots get built, then there's some changes in topography. Things get concentrated where they weren't concentrated originally. It's still the same amount of water, just in a different location. And I'm pretty sure, Clee, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think all this water is going to end up in that detention pond anyways. Is that correct?
That is correct, my friend. That is correct.
How's that going to happen?
It's where it was going before. It's where it's going to keep going now.
All right.
Once it gets into the bank,
with all due respect, it's currently sitting in my backyard. It's spanning my entire backyard and 4 inches deep. And that didn't happen. That didn't happen until we put the house way up on the hill on Oakley Circle. So the changes in topography absolutely have something to do with it. But when I first moved in, I did not have this water issue, and that was before any houses to the left of me had any sort of backyard.
Can I ask who's speaking?
Yes, this is Keith Bishop, 59 Woodside. I don't know what lot number I am.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I just didn't know which. I know you're in that same general area with Steve Maintainus and George. I can't pronounce his last name. You're right in that area there.
Yeah, I'm the house right across from the detention pond.
But to answer Kyle's question, and Keith, when we cut the water off the top of the hill, it'll stop it from flowing onto your property. We're going to redirect it. Where it ends up is the detention pond. It's going to
How would that do that without crossing the road?
It's going to come down that easement. It's going to come down that swale, and it's going to get into the drainage system at some point.
Okay, Clee, I see what you're saying. The drainage system's connected to the detention pond, so the water's going to get directed in there and then over to the detention pond. Okay.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. It's a stormwater system to manage that exact flow of water.
That's a good question, Peter.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, it's an MS4.
Excuse me, Clee. Steve Maintainus speaking. Just had a question for you. I don't know how you're going to do that with that swale, because you've got that utility box there for cable.
We'll figure it out. I mean, I hope we don't have to move it, but we'll figure out what to do with it. I mean, if we got to put a little bend it or even pipe it at that point, we'll get it squared away.
Frankly, I was hoping you would just tell us that it's going to go underground, just because of the aesthetic look of it. Obviously, it's going to impact George's and my yard significantly. You know, the look of the yard. Obviously, we don't have much to begin with that hill in the backyard. So,
Carl, how big of a pipe do you think I have to put in there to catch that, to tie it in?
That I have no idea of. You should ask your engineer, probably do some calcs.
Yeah, because once you put it in a pipe, Steve, it increases the velocity, and there's engineering that has to take place. But if I have to put it underground,
I mean, I think the two of us would definitely appreciate that much more than looking at a sediment filled or rock filled. You know.
Yeah, I agree with Steve. This is George. Triantaflacos. T is good.
I like T.
But I mean, I definitely agree with Steve. I mean, none of us want a swale with rocks going down our driveway when there wasn't even supposed to be a drainage easement in the first place in our house. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think 2 weeks prior to we were supposed to close, I got notification that there was a drainage easement being added on the lot.
And I wasn't even informed until after I had my lot surveyed that there was a drainage easement there.
So I guess I have another question, since that was not told to us 2 weeks prior. Was the drainage easement built correctly? Doesn't seem like it was, because obviously we're having, you know, these issues.
See, the drainage easement is put in place so that the people where the water's coming from can, you know, it allows that water to if I didn't put an easement there, then and that water, it didn't show up, as you say, you know, till after I started doing the lots and cutting and doing all the work that we did. You know, there's a massive drainage ditch up behind that house on the hill there, and what happens is, if you guys could block that off if there wasn't an easement there, and that would cause all kinds of problems. And I didn't know the water was there, so I had to put the easement in. Otherwise, that could happen. You know what I mean? You get pissed off at your neighbor and you clog up the easement, and you know, those are the things that happen. And that's why planning boards don't like to have anything to do with lots, because they end up with discussions like this at their meeting. I mean, I'm happy to show you guys what I want to do, and I know you'll be satisfied that it'll take care of it. But I feel bad that I'm taking up everybody's time at the meeting.
No, Clee, and again, this is just my opinion. I think this is important to make sure that we get this water issue taken care of. I mean, the planning board, you're right, has no jurisdiction over the lots, but we do of the stormwater and the road, and I just want to make sure everything's squared away, that we don't divert something out to the road by satisfying putting in an easement or a swale to take care of lot. What I'm saying is, I don't want one problem to become another problem, is what I'm getting at. So,
well, the only other way that I could maybe handle it would be if I threw a drop inlet at the bottom of the hill there and just piped it. But you know, I thought
about that, Clee. If you went down that back swale to that lower property, and then put if you want to, and again, I don't know, like a storm scepter type thing, and then pipe it directly over to the freaking detention pond.
Well, I could do that. I could accomplish that the same way if I just put either a catch basin with a grate on top of it, and a pipe at the end of it, or something that catches that water. But I am I'm going to do something that satisfies.
Don't take mine for bank. It was just basically looking at it from a common sense. And so if you've got a better way of skinning the cat, go get it.
Yeah, I'm going to work. We're working on it. I've been talking with my foreman, Tom, about it, and we're working on it. You know, it might be a little bit of engineering, but we'll get it worked out.
I'm going to very, very strongly suggest that you do take a look at piping this, if that can be done.
If it can be done, I will, because I will, aesthetically, it'll be a lot nicer.
Yeah, it very definitely so. I probably shouldn't say this, but the only other thing I'd have to say is you do have experience with correcting water issues. I'll take Bear Hill and Brittle Drive as two examples.
Yep, I agree.
It can be done.
We always fix them.
And to the homeowners, I guess I'm just asking you for a little bit of patience at this point. That's all I can say.
All right.
What's our next line of attack?
Okay, we're still on the bond reduction for phase 2. Anybody else have any comments on the numbers or anything else?
I'll make a motion to approve for phase 2 the bond surety reduction
to
$556.06.
Okay. I heard a motion. Did I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, do we have any discussion on this one? Hearing nothing. Roll call vote. Tim.
Aye.
Marilyn.
Aye.
Sean.
Aye.
Dick.
Aye.
Norm, aye. On to phase 3. And this is, I'm assuming we do have the revised edition. And this is for the roadway that was just fairly recently put in. And it looks like we have a total of $603,334.13. Do I have any questions, comments on this one?
In the back of the mind, Clea, does the town hold a bond on those pumping stations for a year from you? Or do they, when they take them over complete, period?
In the past, they've taken them over and just taken them over complete, period. I've never really held, because I've owned, like these I've had for 2-3 years now. The one on Bear Hill I had for 10. But we defer to Joe on that. Whatever he wants, we do.
Yeah. I guess if no one's gonna have it, I'll make a motion to accept phase 3 surety bond reduction of $603,334.13.
Okay, this is not a bond reduction. This is an initial bond.
Oh, I apologize. Is this phase? Did I get it right with phase 3?
Yep.
I'm sorry. Okay, initial bond, a budget, surety bond budget of $603,334.13.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this one? No, hearing none. Roll call vote. Tim.
Aye.
Marilyn.
Aye.
Sean.
Aye.
Dick.
Aye.
Norm, aye. Okay, that is bond reduction. Let's see. We still have something else on Brice Lemon.
Yeah, we got to do the public hearing.
Right. I'm just kind of looking at this.
Don't let Carl leave while the public hearing's going on.
Yeah. Boy, do I have a lot of questions.
Okay, okay, February 4th. This is Quinn Engineering's first review, I guess, of those revisions. And we did, I don't know if, Carl, if you've received it, had a chance to look at it. Julian did send off a response to the report. So I don't know. I guess I'm just going to say, what do you have to say?
So I put out a memo on the 4th with comments on the revised roadway layout. I got an updated plan this morning and didn't have a chance to take a look at it, unfortunately. So
Okay.
literally didn't get a chance. So I apologize for that. But I can go through the memo if you want. In general, I don't think there's any, in general, I don't think there's any big comments, no showstoppers. So
Yeah, if we could just read through it real quick, I mean, if as long as if it passes muster here, it might be helpful, that's all.
Okay, well then let's go through it.
Where the heck is this? I just had.
Number one, it says updated plan must be stamped by a professional engineer.
We did that.
And let me just see. I'm just looking for. Oh, I know I printed out. There it is. The reply. Okay, reply says it has been stamped. I don't know, Kyle, if you've received the stamped version or not yet or not.
I got it this morning, but I haven't taken a look at it at all.
Okay.
The stamp is on the plan, just so you know.
Okay. So the thing is, Kyle, you haven't reviewed their response, so I don't think there's any reason to having you comment on their response. We'll just note that they have responded. Okay. So an updated a subdivision plan that reflects the revision of the roadway and lots must be prepared and recorded. They said an ANR has been done, blah, 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 and recorded. Number three.
So if I can just summarize this one real quick for you is at the bottom of Woodside Ave, there's a curve that comes into Main Street. And there are dimensional requirements for curves so you have enough sight distance. And this is a curve that's approaching a stop intersection on Main Street. So vehicles are going to be traveling relatively slowly as they approach the intersection. So we had noted back in the original review that the dimensional values don't meet the ASHRAE requirements for a 30-mile-an-hour roadway, but in this case, cars aren't going to be traveling that fast. Basically, this comment just says, make sure the sight distance is still good for a car traveling at a relatively low speed. That's all.
Okay.
We did do that, and it did pass. So you'll see when you look at the plans, Carl.
Okay.
Okay, number four, detention pond is area is not depicted on the plan. They're saying they added it. Number five, applicant should clarify the storm scepter, blah, blah, blah. And similar to substitutions. And the reply says it has been installed and it's the same unit previously approved by the board. Number six, sewer utilities either discharged to the pump station must be depicted. It says they have shown them on the revised plans. Number seven, the hydro location depicted doesn't match the location. And it says the hydrant location has been revised on the profile of the revised sheet. And number eight, any sheet affected by the proposed subdivision must be updated so that a complete set of updated plans can be maintained. It says the site plan has been revised and it is attached. I guess I don't know, I guess my particular question is, we get these revisions, and I don't know, and I'm just gonna ask the board this question. We get these revisions, are we supposed to take the copy that we've got, rip out the old pages and put in the new ones? Or should we be getting a brand new complete roll?
An awful lot of paper. You want to kill some trees there, Norm?
I'm leaving it up to the board.
I'd be happy to come up and switch them out.
Norm, I don't have a problem as long as, this is, I'm looking at this drawing that was submitted, and what does it say? So sheet 2 of 13. So we'd have to replace in the plans for phase 3, we'd have to replace sheet 2 of 13 and 1 of 23.
Yep.
I mean, as long as they're revved up and they're placed in the original set, I mean, I'm sort of with Clea. I don't need to kill a tree as long as we've got these submitted to the board and put into the original set. I mean, I'm old school. I'm used to having a drawing rack, and I just open it up and put in the 2 new drawings and throw away the other 2.
That's what we have. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think from your perspective, Norm, from the electronic version, we should get submitted a whole new electronic version from Blair or for this job with these 2 in it. So I don't mind replacing the paper copy that we have, but I think an updated set electronically should be sent to David.
That I can do, and I don't kill a tree doing it.
Oh, doggone it all.
That's my opinion. Take it or leave it.
And the Conservation Commission, please.
Yes, conservation too. Dave, I just got to ask you now, is this something that you feel you can accomplish easily enough? Replace sheets?
Just to recap, so the idea is to submit only revised sheets and then replace those with replace the existing with the revised sheet only?
Yes.
But send you a complete revised set electronically with the date that the revision or the date that the revised set were added, and send that to you to put in a file.
Well, the problem with that on the paper is that they're all stapled. I don't have a stapler that could do the job of restapling them.
I do. I'll come up and get the plans, and I'll replace the sheets. I have the stapler and the remover to get those out.
So if that's agreeable to the board, then I guess the document, the plan set in the office, if it gets updated periodically as the board's describing them, we would always have the latest plans.
Yes.
With the replacement sheets. Then we'd have several versions of an electronic copy, which can also be stored as a backup. But I'm assuming that Carl has all this as well. Carl?
I have a paper copy. I'd love to get the updated electronic copy.
I'll get that for you, Carl. I have to send it over Dropbox. Is that okay?
That's fine. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe we can coordinate a time that would work, Lee, for the paper.
Sure.
Since you're going to do that, you might as well, if you could, provide a master sheet that has the street name replacements. Just like there's one of these plan sets, there's an overview of the street names. You updated 3 of the street names some time ago, but I don't have the latest revised paper that indicates
Okay,
that.
we did update it. Yeah, I can do that at the same time. Yep.
Yeah, and I think there was some changes to the grades and some of the utilities for phase 1.
2.
I don't think we have those as a paper copy either. So if we're going to do some revisions to the main master paper set, we could just maybe update it with all those things that we don't currently have.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I've replaced them in mine, and I kept a copy of what I did. I'll have to get that out. If you could, maybe as you think of them, just jot them down. It would make it easier for me to make sure that you get the right ones. That's all.
Sure, I can do that. And Carl, since you're here, would you just be able to double check me that I have the right ones that we don't currently have in paper?
Yeah, we do that.
Right,
I can go through yours too. It'd probably be just as easy. I'll just take yours, I'll match them up with mine, and whatever I have that's different, I'll just replace.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good idea, especially if you know that yours is the most current paper plan set.
Yeah,
then
they
that-
are. Yeah, I'll make sure. I know what to do.
All right,
Okay.
good. Thanks.
Okay, okay, I think maybe,
Next meeting?
well, made a little teeny tiny mistake here. In that I did not make notice that this was actually part of the public hearing on the revision to,
We all knew that.
pardon?
We all knew that. It didn't matter.
Well,
Did you hear my motion?
yeah, right. So, and anyway, the thing is, I don't know, do we have any more questions on the Quinn report or what we've seen so far for the reply to it?
Norm, while you got that right there, and if Carl is still there, where Main Street is coming on to Woodside Ave, on the
Yep.
lower part, on the curve where it comes off of Main Street. Yeah, come back over to Main Street a little bit more to the left. Right there. There's a drain that comes across 122A. Is that drain capable of draining to the catch basin, or does it go across the other guy's property? I just don't know if anybody's ever seen that drain.
I do. See, no, Dickie, it's on the plan. No, it's not on the plan, but if you come down there, you'll see where we've got a pond next to the road, next to Main Street, and it does actually go right there. It goes under Main Street, so it's not as far over as the cursor is. It's back more
Okay.
towards the site, and the drain is there's like a culvert right under Main Street. That's what you're talking about, right?
That is correct. And
Yeah, it's right about where the cursor is now, right about there.
Okay. And that, if it flowed, it would flow into the catch basin?
No, it flows into that culvert right now, but it's going to flow into the catch basin and back into the drainage area.
Okay.
It will eventually flow into the catch basin. It won't go that way anymore.
All right.
Norm, I had a question for Clee. Being that I've got a great memory, I remember asking you about the pipes on between the lots right off the curve.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me you're getting rid of that, but on the new plan I see it there. So what happened?
Well, we just responded to the comments. In other words, right now that's what's been approved. That's on the plan. We're leaving it on the plan. We're going to redesign that. We're going to give it back to Carl for his approval. But as of right now, what's designed and approved is on the plan.
Okay. So all you're doing is basically getting this road straightened out, and when you redesign that, you'll come back to us again.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Carl, you're making money twice. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Good enough. Thanks.
Okay, do we have anything else on this latest Quinn report? Which, while it sort of appears that things are fairly well addressed, we still do not have our, I'll call it final review from Carl And with that, I don't feel that we're really ready to close the public hearing.
I make a motion to continue the hearing until our next planning board meeting, which is February 23rd.
I believe so.
I'll second that.
Okay. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Tim?
Aye.
Marilyn?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
Norm? Aye. Let me see. Once again, I gotta get myself back to somewhere here. I think we are done with Brice Lemon unless there is anything else.
I hope not.
And with that,
One moment, please.
yeah,
Please do not forget about what I gave to the planning board from Anita, the listing, and was given to the DPW, Joe, to make copies for the planning board before this goes to the, town meeting.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Everybody's puzzled, Dick.
Just a second. I have here the Town of Rutland Planning Board, December 10th, 2020. Mr. Buckley, private water sewer line, Maple Ave to Brice Lemon Estate subdivision. Mr. Buckley, letter is in regard to the above matter. Do you remember that, Norm? And it's got your name and all that on it.
You better read me the rest of it.
In an effort to update planning board records and prepare for an expected street acceptance request to 2021 annual town meeting for phase 1 road, the planning board has questions regarding permits for the infrastructure for Brice Lemon Estates. In particular, the board is interested to know whether the water sewer permits were issued for the water and sewer lines that run from Maple Ave to Phillips Ave to Fairview Ave to Main Street and then to Brice Lemon Estates. In addition to, are you familiar with the process by which the water sewer lines would become property of the town? Also, do you happen to know if the plans as referenced water and sewer lines were submitted? The board understands you would like a formal request related to the board's questions. Please accept this letter for that purpose. If you would like this matter placed on the upcoming board meeting or would otherwise like to discuss, please let us know.
I might be able to help you with that. So I
Okay.
submitted all the as-bills for the sewer force main that we did, and the water on Sharnik, to Joe. And as far as the ownership of them, if I put a water line on your property, then you own the water line. So it's town property and or state property. So by law, you already own it because it's on your property. I put it on your property.
No,
I have the ability to do that
you
through
put it on Mass Dot's property, the state.
Right, but Joe had to apply. Actually, Joe or Gary at the time applied for the permit to put it in, because
Then that's what I'm requesting, a copy of that permit.
it's a sewer extension permit, Dick. It's with the subdivision. I can send you a copy of it.
No, it's just, we asked Joe for all the copies so that we would have everything for Brice Lemon.
Oh, okay. Well, if he has it too, I'm sure. So if you want to get it from him, that's fine.
Well, that's what the letter was sent to, was Joe.
Okay.
For
Yeah, because Dick, to your point, we want to get that in the file so we've got it there. So if something comes up down the road, we've got a complete file of all the permits. As per our boilerplate, if I'm not mistaken, one of the boilerplate items that all permits are in place on our orders of condition, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it is, yeah.
You know what I went through with the select board to get that damn sewer extension permit?
I was in on the meetings, Clea. I remember them. Over at Naquag multiple times.
Awful.
So that's all I was interested in, is just copies of that.
Okay, so who are we getting them from?
Mr. Buckley.
Okay,
Have we requested that, and have we got any response? I guess is going to be my question.
Like I say, I got this thing here, it's CC Planning Board file, Norm Anderson, Planning Board Chair, Town of Rutland, and it was sent by email to him on December 10th, 2020. So approximately 2 months ago.
okay. And that was sent to Joe.
Yes.
Okay,
DPW
well,
Director, 16 Plumagusset Road, Rutland.
okay, then I guess we need to tickle him a little bit to see if we can get him.
Okay.
Okay, do we have anything else on Brice Lemon? Okay, I'm just looking at this. I don't see actually anything on the agenda for the letter that Dave has up on here now. But I'm assuming we still have Carl here.
Yeah, I can explain this. So this is item 11, revision to subdivision regulations.
Oh, okay.
We had a question at the last meeting regarding whether the board could control for slopes on the property.
Mhm.
This is that answer to that question. And then after this email, email here, there's the information on the roadway cross section, which the board in particular wanted Carl to attend to advise on how best to handle that.
Mhm.
Well, the long and the short of it in terms of slope and regulation of slope in the road, in the private property, is that it's not generally advisable.
Mhm.
It's funny that Worcester has a slope requirement when they're relatively flat to the surrounding communities around them.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Worcester's built on 7 hills.
Yeah, it's funny. Worcester's actually very hilly. Yeah, so they're the only community that I'm aware of that has any sort of site plan requirement for lots that have a certain slope on them. And so basically what it means is anytime you build a house on a 15% slope or more, you got to file with the planning board. The planning board reviews it, DPW reviews it, which in Worcester, that's how they do it. But that's the only community I'm aware of that does it that way.
Yeah, I've never run into that before. Never built much in Worcester though.
So it's not to say that if you do a plan and you go through the planning board review that problems don't happen anyways. You know, things come up. There's unforeseen conditions like groundwater or soil conditions or something that you wouldn't pick up during a site plan review process. So it's, even if you did it, you still might have problems. But plus you end up with a lot more administrative work and paperwork to handle. Every time you build a house on a 15% slope, the board's going to review it.
Yeah, I don't.
An awful lot of lots.
Okay. The you know, I'm not sure whether cities fall under some of the same regulations that the towns do.
But if we don't have any towns around us doing it, I mean, Paxton's got a lot of hills. I mean,
Princeton is nothing but one big hill.
yeah, and if they're not doing it, I don't know. I hate being the first of anything.
Yeah. Well, I think part of our question was could we legally even do it?
It's like the answer is yes.
I think you need. I'm not an expert, but I think you need a bylaw change.
Yeah, you'd have to go to town meeting for that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why do you want to screw with the lots anyway? Stay out. It's too much work.
Yeah.
Leave that up to the building inspector.
I don't know. I'm personally, I'm willing to drop the idea. But
Norm, I'm with you on this one.
I you know, I do see us, you know, running into, I'm not going to say more problems, but I can see us running into stranger and stranger scenarios as more and more of the desirable land gets used up.
Yeah.
Well, on the
Prime
subdivision,
example is gonna be, Noble Hill.
yeah, but Dick, we've got a lot of phases in that one, if I'm not mistaken, and stabilization requirements. We were pretty good, if I remember right, on that one.
That one, yes, that one there, I do believe, it was like 2 or 3 houses at a phase, or it was very, very
Yeah.
small amount.
I like that template that we used for Noble Hill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got into some pretty good detail on that one.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Okay. Uh, let's see.
Road.
Real quick, can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
I've got to go get a guy a set of keys. Are we all set with me? Because there was something, I saw something on there about Britnell, and I did send you the letter that you asked for. But are you all set with me?
The only thing I've got is, so I read it, Clee, and if I'm reading all of the legalese in there, you've been given the go-ahead to build that road.
Yeah, well, I got the go-ahead from you guys a long time ago, but that was from the DCR. I just got it today. Yeah.
Well, that's what I meant. You've got basically every permit in place.
Yes, sir.
And this is the question I know I'm going to ask before Dick asks you. Can we get copies of all of those?
Sure, absolutely. I'm happy to do that.
I would say send them to David so we can put them in the book.
So I'll get 401 water quality cert. I have an Army Corps 404. I have the Conservation Commission order conditions and the DCI variance now.
Excellent.
So if that's all set, I gotta go let somebody in a building here. So I'm gonna run.
Hey, Clee, how old are those orders?
Everything I got, the DCR I got just a few months. I mean, the DEP I got just a few months ago.
No, the Concom orders is the one I was thinking about.
Wasn't that last year, Peter? You gave me those?
Honestly, I don't remember anymore.
Peter, I can check on that.
Okay, thank you, Tamika. I
Yeah,
just want to make sure that they don't expire before you use them, that's all.
Oh, no. I plan on using those very shortly.
Lee, and Norm, can I take something that is not within for an item that's within 48 hours because it came up in the select board meeting last night, so it couldn't get on the agenda within 48 hours?
Go.
Clee, I heard on the select board that they signed the marijuana retail license, and you were going to build a leased building in TC2. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know where TC2 or 1 and start and stop, but you know where I keep all my construction equipment at the Martelli's garage?
Yeah.
It'll be right in, we're gonna separate that into 2 lots. It'll be the lot, will be the one that abuts Main Street, and then my garage will be in the back.
Okay, that's like right on the border between TC1 and TC2, so we can worry about that later. I just wanted to make sure because I was looking over the bylaw, and that's something the board's got to talk about. I didn't say retail marijuana even in the it's the word I'm looking for, in the call outs of what can be used and then what the board can approve. So it's something the board needs to talk about, and I wanted to get this discussion happening now rather than later.
Okay, no, that's great. I mean, I know that, they wouldn't allow it in a Sims building, so we had to go to one of the TC districts. I just didn't know if it was 1 or 2.
If I could, I have the bylaw here. So if the board recalls, within the last half year, an ANR was endorsed.
Correct.
Separate a lot out from the front part of the Martelli property there. So that's TC2. The classification marijuana retailer is allowed in the TC2 zoning district. I think the lot needed to be carved out so that the applicant could show that they had an agreement to control a specific property. It would not otherwise be permissible unless the lot was divided, as I recall.
Well, my question is, in our bylaw, did we change it to allow marijuana retail sales?
And this is the bylaw that was enacted several years ago. There's been no amendments made to it. So this was enacted 2 years ago or so.
I just didn't see marijuana, and I saw retail sales, but I'm not sure. Yeah, because there's sections in that bylaw that says. Anyhow, well,
if you look at section 85B, marijuana retailer is an allowed use in the TC2 zoning district.
And that's in the marijuana bylaw. It's not in the. It's not in the TC2 bylaw, which is
no. See, the marijuana bylaw was created specifically to address licensed marijuana establishments of the types that were selected by the committee who put this together. So it's its own standalone bylaw, which accounts for classifications on one side and the corresponding zoning district with uses are allowed on the other side. And they all require a special permit with the inclusion of the site plan review from the planning board.
What all I was getting at, Dave, is we've got a list of bylaws on our website, and I'm fine with that. But 10B is for the TC zones. And I guess this is, since Peter's on, shouldn't we match the two bylaws up so they basically are they cover the same discussion point? And again, we get into that later.
That perhaps can be done, but that is a mess of work to harmonize all the sections of zoning. So that's all I'm going to say right now.
Okay. Good enough. Let's move on. I just wanted to verify, bring it up. We can talk about this down the road, so that's all. Okay. That's it for me, for I had for Clee.
Am I all set, guys?
I'd say so.
All right. Thank you, and it's good to see everybody again. Bye now.
Very good. Let's see. Are we done with? Yeah. Are we done with Carl?
I think we want to talk about the roadways that he gave us.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yes. So.
Do we want more cheap asphalt, or do we want some better asphalt?
How about both, Dick?
That's getting to be the situation that I'm a little nervous. Have they changed the consistency of asphalt lately? Made it cheaper?
So, not that I'm aware of, the DOT changed their specification recently to be more in line with the federal standards for asphalt. It's a program called SuperPave. It's been around for a while, but it's sort of now just sort of finding its way into municipalities. What they had specified before was, you used to call it Class 1 asphalt.
Yeah.
That's what's in the bylaw or in the subdivision regulations, and that's what we check it for basically. Whenever somebody paves, Yankee Engineering typically goes out, takes a sample, tests it, checks it for asphalt content and the gradation, and then they submit a summary, and we check it against the requirements. And if it's good, it's good, and if it's not, then we had in phase 2 of Brice Estates, there was a question about that. They didn't take the sample to make sure that the roadway asphalt mix was consistent. So that's the gist of the asphalt industry as I understand it right now. But
Carl, I guess I've got a question. Should we update our requirements in our subdivision bylaw or subdivision regs to match what the state's doing with the federal requirement?
I think so. Here's what I think is, I think if the town went to a super pave specification, it'd be a little much.
Okay.
I think you can say do super pave or Class 1 would be acceptable as well, because that's what people have been using for forever. I think what you want to do is, I think you want to increase the thickness of the asphalt that's required.
Okay.
because right now you require 2 inches of binder and a 1-inch top, which when you put the aggregate in there and everything like that, you don't end up with a lot of asphalt coating over the aggregate. So if you increase the thickness, you'd have a little bit more space for the aggregate and the asphalt to fit within that depth. So I think if you're going to do anything, I would say increase that to like a 2.5-inch thickness and a 1.5-inch thickness for binder and top. And to be honest with you, that's pretty much what most other surrounding communities do as well.
Okay.
It's a 2.5 and a 1.5 inch. So you end up with 4 inches total asphalt. Whereas right now you guys have 3 inches total. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but it makes a difference.
Oh yeah. Because top coat, I'm thinking, another 1/2 inch and make it 2 inch, 2.5, 2 or something like that, or whatever.
The top coat it's the wearing course. It's what you drive on.
Yeah.
If you're looking for more stability in the structure of it, I'd increase the binder.
Base. Yeah.
If you're going to do it, that's where I would do it.
And then the other question, Carl, that I was struggling with, just seeing some of the designs around or the roads around Rutland, do we need to increase our base?
No, in fact, you guys have the thickest base of any community in the area, as far as I can tell.
Excellent, I love it.
You got, what it is you have the first course is 18 inches thick, and that's got a 6-inch max stone in it, which is a good sized stone, but then you end up covering that with another 6 inches of a finer material, which is like a 2-inch max stone. So you end up with 24 inches of gravel on your roadway, which is, that's by far the most. Most communities are like 12 inch. I think Holden is 18 inches maybe. No, Shrewsbury's 18. And that's even on the high side there. So 24 inches is a lot of gravel.
Is it really, the old man showed me how to do it with a freaking mason jar and put gravel in there, shake it around with water in it, and see how much other stuff is in there.
Yep.
To me, sometimes this bank gravel is not what you should really be putting in there because it's got an awful lot of loam in it, or clay or something else.
Yep. So similar to the pavement is every time somebody puts down gravel, the Yankee comes up, they take a sample at every 50 feet, I think it is, and they compare that to the DOT requirement for gravel. The DOT has a specification that they use for gravel. So you can see it actually right there on the page. It's right near the bottom. It says type D for gravel, 1.5 inch largest dimension. So that's one of that's for the thinner of the layers of gravel. And so when they do the testing, they take a sample and they figure out the particle size distribution.
Yep.
How much percentage should be a certain size, and there's DOT has specifications for different types of gravel, but we use a particular one that they have. And so if it meets it, it meets it. If it doesn't, then we investigate why it doesn't meet it, or we have more samples taken, or whatever.
Okay. Basically, you've driven around town quite a bit. Do you think we're okay with what we have?
I think what you have is what you have. I think if you're gonna keep having subdivisions in town, I would up the amount of asphalts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right.
Just
So,
because
Carl, you said a 2.5 binder and a 1.5 top coat, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I got to ask an unpopular question, I think, amongst most of the board members. I'm just wondering what is gained by using 18 inches of bank gravel versus 12?
That's a good question.
The rocks in the wintertime don't come up through it.
Does it also, Carl, does it, and again, I'm not a mechanical or civil engineer, is that more drainage that helps the asphalt last longer?
So it's like Dick said, it's when there's frost cycles, the rocks work their way towards the surface. And so if you have more gravel under the roadway, you basically have longer before those rocks come up to the surface, if they're going to. the way to prevent that is to put in subdrains so that you don't have a lot of groundwater under the roadway. So subdrains are a very good tool to use against water issues in roadways. So as long as when you build a subdivision, you put in subdrains, that helps a ton.
Then Carl, does it make sense to, you know, to Norm's point, be a compromise, go to 18 inches of gravel but then require subdrains?
So you already require the subdrains.
I missed that. Where the heck?
So there's
I missed that.
In the subdivision regulations, it says anytime you have groundwater within a certain depth of the surface, you got to put in subdrains.
All right.
So that's good. And like, for example, on Brice Estates, back in December, they were installing subdrains. So they're going in.
All right.
But to Norm's point about how much gravel you have, if you're gonna change the thickness of the 18-inch layer, I'd go with a smaller maximum size stone there, because right now it's a 6-inch max stone. So if you go from 18-inch to 12-inch, and now all of a sudden you get two 6-inch stones right next to each other or on top of each other, you know, that's a recipe for an issue. You want to have smaller stones in that layer if it's going to be 12 inches thick.
Well, we're 24 inches right now, right?
Yeah, so you get a layer of 18 with a 6-inch max stone, and then you got a layer of 6-inch on top of that with a 1.5-inch largest stone.
Would you do three layers of 6 to give it a better? What am I looking for? 3 layers of 6 with different diameters to?
No, I think it's all gravel at the end of the day. As long as they compact it, it's money, you know. So if you were gonna, like I said, if you're gonna reduce the thickness at all, just look at the size of the stones that are going and make sure they're not too big.
Okay, got another question. And again, I'm taking, I think, a minority view here. But if we were to go to 12 inches of bank gravel, if that was specified to be laid in 2 6-inch courses, each course compacted, would that make a difference? And would that be advisable?
No, it's not a bad idea. The 6-inch lift or compaction depth is good. I think for the most part, that's what gets done now. You don't get it tested at that interval, but when they place about 6-8 inches, they roll it, and then they keep going, because you can't compact 18 inches in one roll. You know, you got to go piece at a time.
Okay, so you're saying if we did go to 12, you'd probably say stones no larger than 4 inches rather than 6 inches.
Yeah, I think the next size for the DOT is 3 inches. Okay. So I'd go 3-inch.
Mm-hmm.
I like I think it was either Shrewsbury or Holden or something, where they had the maximum tonnage for a roller too.
Oh yeah, you can specify that too. I mean,
that's something we have not done, I don't believe, in our regs.
No, but it sort of all goes back to the compaction. So once the gravel is rolled, the testing company comes out again and does compaction testing, and it's going to be 95% compacted or greater. And so you can roll it with a big roller, you can roll it with little roller. It doesn't matter, as long as the compaction is there at the end of the day. That's what you care about.
Yeah, but with a big roller, it would take less time to go back and forth over it than a smaller roller.
That's up to the contractor though. That's his money.
You know, Norm, I don't have a problem equaling Holden or Shrewsbury to 18 inches, and then one level of that is a 3-inch rock as opposed to a 6.
Well, but you know that's what I'm saying, and I, you know, I'm just looking that I don't know. Are Holden's roads worse than ours?
Yes.
You know. uh,
Yeah, but part of their problem is they use brick supports for their manholes.
well, I don't know. I'm just, and I am kind of thinking of the trade-off because I fully agree with the increase in the asphalt. Uh, that to me makes very good sense.
And Norm, that's what I was thinking. If we're gonna increase the cost to the developer on asphalt, I think we should throw a bone at them and maybe go from 24 to 18, and then just like Carl said, instead of that last row of 6 inches, make that a 3-inch. The last 6 inches of it is 3-inch stone as opposed to 6.
No, I think the only 6 inches is the bank gravel.
Oh, am I wrong? Okay.
Is that right, Carl?
But it just, in my opinion, also when you're talking density or whatever rock sizes and gravel, if you're out towards Long Pond, the ground out there has got more gravel in it automatically right now. But if you go towards Holden or something like that, you're running into more clay and more water, you might say. So, in a way, I'm a little leery of going from 18 to 12.
No, Dick, I was thinking from 24 that we've got now to 18.
Well, 24 to 8 or whatever. Yeah. No, that's it's just, to me, for crying out loud, it's the town has been doing pretty damn decent for our subdivisions.
Yeah.
But I think that top coat should be thicker.
I'm okay with that. I agree that the asphalt, I was trying to give them an offset.
I'm just trying to think, for crying out loud, and knowing the state, they're going to, try to do less, a binder that's not as good as it used to be.
Well, I think I agree with Carl. I think in our regs we should, go to 2.5 and 1.5, but we also should put in there the or for the what do you call that, Carl? Super
pave.
Super pave. So I'm not saying that we just, all we do is give them the option.
Yeah.
And I think they'll take the cost-effective option, but at least it's in our regs.
Well, I think hopefully sometime in the springtime that when we start getting back together again, that we can take some jaunts, some site walks, into some of these other subdivisions that have been in for quite some time, and let's take a hard look at it. I went up and drove around here with the old Rutland State Sand, Central Tree, Skyline Drive, and
you don't want me going over to Burnell East, do you, Dick?
That was put in with our present specs.
I know.
So one thing to note real quick is the discussion about the 2.5 and the 1.5 inch. That all has to do with the class 1 pavement. If you go to a super pave mix, the depths change because it's a totally different system and evaluation of how the pavement behaves under vehicle loads and stuff like that. So the 2.5 and the 1.5 is good for class 1 pavement, but if you're going to do super pave, it's more specialized, and I think you got to look at the depths separately. You can't just say blanket statement 2.5, 1.5, regardless of what type of system you're using.
Okay, that's good, Carl. Let me ask a question. I mean, in our subdivision regs, we've got the verbiage here. Should we come up with a table and I know we got the picture, but I was thinking of table between our Cat 1 and then the super pave. That way we can show that on a table. And
That's not a bad idea.
okay. not saying we have to do that. I'm just saying if we decide to go that route, instead of putting it into words, I'm a table person.
I agree.
Yeah, table is not a bad idea.
But visually, I like to see this.
So where are we with this?
Well, somebody ought to come up with a little bit of drawing of the super and a little verbiage, and we'll work on it.
I can take a look at that and get back to you guys on it.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Sounds like something of a plan anyway.
Let's pay the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Clee's not here, Carl. Just put that on Brice Lemon, please.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Okay.
Okay.
I think are we done with Carl?
Are we? I think so.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very, very much, Carl.
Very good. Thanks, guys. If you have any questions, let me know.
Right. Thanks for
may be calling on
meeting
you.
and helping us.
Yeah.
No problem.
Again, before too long.
Stay well.
Very good. Thank you, guys. You too.
Okay.
All right. What's our next? We're approaching 9 o'clock. My tank's running low.
Yeah, so is mine. We're past 9 o'clock.
Oh, God.
Okay, next thing is open space and recreation plan, which you have a copy of.
So we start with number 1 and start going from there.
You got to be kidding me! No freaking way.
Dave, do you have an idea how to handle this one?
Yeah, I mean, I can just go, why don't we just go through the document very quickly? And I'll just stop in the areas that were highlighted as the planning board being potentially responsible for these items.
Okay.
And once again, this is put on the agenda at the request of the board.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, so manage land uses along major roads, that's number 1 here. So you have work with the CMRPC and the Lost Village Scenic Byway. And you also have continue to apply and evolve the town's scenic road bylaws. So would you like for me to just point them out and then come back to them? Or, I mean, I guess what was the reason to have this put on the agenda? Was this Dick's suggestion? What are you trying to accomplish?
Because the town should know, like, number 1 right there, continue to apply involved town scenic roads bylaw. You know, when's the last time we thought about bringing some new scenic road up in town here? And it's a low priority. That's why the PRI is low. And whether it's budgeted or not to do this, but it's something for us to always keep in mind. Because I do believe it comes through us first, doesn't it? No?
It doesn't have to. Concom.
What a strange voice.
Yeah, Concom, planning, or historical can each suggest a scenic road. And I don't remember the full process, but there's nothing that says that it has to start or end with planning.
Right. I think it does end with planning.
Yeah, it's a bylaw, so that.
Yeah, because planning.
Well, I shouldn't say. I think it ends at town meeting.
Yeah, you're right, Norm.
That's right.
But special
Approved or
permits,
denied.
special permits for any work or stuff like that is for the planning board.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, to me, for Christ's sakes, you know, and hence walkability of Rutland Center, planning board in Central Mass. Actually, that almost runs into the town center study that we've been doing. That slipped right into there. That was a good walk around. We did part of that.
Excellent.
There are things here that we should be looking at every once in a while and updating. For see what we could do.
Okay, I think we should change our schedule. I think we should meet 3 times a week.
Okay. Sounds good. 5:30 tomorrow morning.
Norm, I'll be over at your house in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So 3, I like 3. I mean, we're doing 3 right now by updating our subdivision bylaws.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, regs. I gotta quit saying bylaws. Subdivision regs. What's 4? Was there one at 4? I apologize.
Nope, nothing on 4.
Okay, thanks.
Let me see.
Nothing on this one.
We're all the way down to, well,
Number
whatever
3.
page it is. Enhance and increase conservation lands.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
And connect open spaces. This is something that was Brice Lemon, but I've been kicked in the butt for that one. So.
Norm, didn't we do that? If I remember right, it's either open space or subdivision ways. We put lid in there, didn't we? Lid designs.
We do have lid. Yeah.
Okay. So we've done. I mean, we haven't ignored it. We've done something.
Right. And I'm not sure. I don't even think that's necessarily just in open space.
Yeah, I think it's in our I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's in our subdivision regs, just regular regs.
Yeah.
Lid design.
And I think we did it for, did we do it for Lucier on his piece of property on Main Street? Seems to me between the buildings, we did a lid.
I know he was doing some pretty fancy drainage or whatever.
That's correct, yeah.
I'm not sure if it was lid or not. Kind of curious as to what's happened with that.
Looks like it's a holding pattern when I drive by.
Okay, let's see. Next page. Provide additional recreation programs and facilities. Cooperate with state agencies and private groups to maintain and improve hiking, biking, and cross-country skiing trails.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
And the next line down, to develop a trail to connect Putnam Park with the rail trail, and that's what I was trying to do with Brice Lemon and Mr. Blair. But Addison Redfield put a kibosh on that.
Okay.
But because we needed an easement and we didn't get one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
That's it for that one. Okay, anything further on open space and recreation plan?
No.
Good luck to them. Hopefully they can come up with some good ideas.
Okay. What's next one?
Next is phase 1 master plan.
No.
I don't know. Have we met since we had our first meeting?
No, it's this coming up month in the middle, or I think the 24th, or on that
25th.
25th.
Yeah.
So no. But I can announce as a member that our illustrious chairman is chairman of that committee too.
Yeah.
VOC, victim of choice.
Right. Like I say, Dave and I have been having a couple of conversations on that.
Okay.
I won't get into it.
All right.
So I guess just a very, very brief update here on this. So the Master Plan Steering Committee met for the first time. It organized itself in terms of a chair, vice chair, and a clerk. There were some things on the to-do list, which are spread between the CMRPC and staff. The CMRPC is working on a website. They're going to host a website. You want to gather as many historical planning documents as possible from the town, put that on the website, the prior master plan. You want the website to be a repository for relevant documents, past and present, and also a place to share new information as things come together and recommendations are made. There's discussion about how to get to folks in as many ways as possible, including the internet, flyers, newsletters, etc. Very brief discussion on how to have a public forum given COVID. The Regional Planning Commission does have some experience working in a remote manner. We really didn't go down the path too much on that. We're going to revisit that as circumstances change. The next meeting is on the 25th. And at that point, we're going to, continue to push this process along, working under the guidance of the Regional Planning Commission, who has experience in how to achieve these goals. Was there anything else I missed, Norm? Anything you want to add?
I can't think of anything. I'm not thinking much right now.
All right, good enough. So that was a very brief update on that. Anybody have any questions or anything?
No. Hopefully in the future, things will go a little bit better. I get a chance to, get online and watch them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the meetings are open to the public. The agendas will be posted in advance of the meetings.
I guess I'm sort of waiting also for a little bit more details from CMRPC regarding, specifically what their activities are going to be.
Norm, you're looking for an outline, which is what I was wondering when it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
All right.
Okay, 11, revision to subdivision regs we have hit.
Yep.
Zoning Act changes, number 12. This one scares me a little.
Yeah, I read it too.
Can we tell the state to take a hike?
No, Dick, what we can do is make sure all buses coming through Rutland have flats.
Yeah.
Well, we don't allow buses. Nobody's on them.
Well, can we do that with school buses too?
Yeah. Well, that's what we're doing. We're teaching our kids not to be a transient type. They don't take buses.
Yeah, yeah, you are correct.
So just change the zoning act.
Okay. Couldn't
You're
quite.
cutting it out. Seriously there, Sean.
Sorry?
You're cutting in and out.
Oh, battery down. I said. These are they put. Didn't hear a bit about agricultural.
Sean, I can't hear a word you're saying.
Wow.
I think you need to get up on your rooftop.
Tell the kids. Tell the kids to get off of the streaming video.
Hear me now?
Oh.
Okay.
So, can we not make this real thick of planning board stuff this thick again. That's a half-inch thick.
Yeah, I know. Well, it is what it is.
I know.
Right, Norm, 3 meetings a week.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, what? Some of these, we've already done some of this stuff, haven't we? Open
Well,
space.
okay, you're talking this the new zoning act.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the Baker administration.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm, and I cannot say that I have really sat down and read it in depth, but I don't believe it is requiring us to do anything.
Is it a suggestion, Norm? The way I read it, it was a suggestion for
It's a suggestion that we can make certain things easier, such as, requiring only a majority vote versus a 2/3 vote, allowing certain things by special permit, allowing some by right things that are now maybe require a special permit, or that sort of thing. But again, I don't think they are requiring us to do anything.
Okay.
I
don't
think
know.
that's correct.
Dave, do you agree on that?
I would have a serious question that I don't know about this MBTA zone. It indicates that the list may be preliminary in nature. The list does not appear to be finalized. I'm a little confused how they determine what an MBTA community is. So I think that one, if the town is on the list there, then that would be a mandate. The other ones appear to be at the option of the community, whether they want to pursue some of these other changes that only require a majority instead of the prior 2/3 vote.
But anyway,
Mr. Chair, I'm not sure that some of these are optional. If you look at the quantum, where the heck am I? I'm on page 68 of the package. The quantum of vote reduced for certain special permits. Like the town council says, instead of requiring approval by a supermajority of all members of the special permit granting authority, only a simple majority vote is now required to grant a special permit of these specific permits. That doesn't sound optional to me.
Well, I think the point is you have to have those districts in effect in the first place.
Well,
you have to have the zoning passed initially, and then once you have the zoning passed, then
right. And well, we have a town center, so that's number 2.
Mixed-use developments.
I grant that number 1 probably doesn't apply, but number 2 I think does.
Yeah.
That's a fast read.
Yeah, if you have 10% of the units being affordable housing, so there's caveats there. I think that the incentivized housing development. If you look further at that, it may be in effect if you have the affordable housing component.
Right.
That would be the housing based upon the median income of the region.
I would love to know how you would even determine whether number 2 applies. Where would you get the information even?
Undoubtedly from HUD.
Yeah.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah, but look at number 3, Norm. I read that with that parking space. Well, suppose the mixed use, they do a house and a what's the word I'm looking for?
Business.
Yeah, is that gonna force us to look at a reduced parking space because the total TC1 or TC2 building that comes before us is partial residential and not business. I mean,
Well, and on top of that, the term mixed-use development is now defined in
yeah,
Chapter 48, Section 1A. So we can't even know without reading the modified section what the definition is to know how to apply it.
I like to make a motion to put this on our 2022 planning board meeting in January to review this with extensive, because to Peter's point, if you look at that above, they're calling out amendments to Mass General Law. That's what worries me. Right there, it says immediate effectively amendments to special permit provision of General Law, Section 40A. I'm sorry, of 40A, Section 9. That sounds, I gotta agree with Peter. That sounds to me like that's been put into law.
Yes, it has been. However, those two sections, you would have the majority vote if you had a percent of affordable housing associated with that particular multi-family housing project or that particular mixed-use development.
So that's the caveat.
Right?
That's the caveat, Dave.
That's the caveat. So
Okay.
This is to incentivize affordable housing.
All right. All right. So somebody spent a lot of money and time doing this to apply to 2 districts in the entire state of Massachusetts.
Correct.
That could very well be. Yeah.
They're trying to tell us how to build our community. Never mind. This, you're coming up here, new zoning requirements for the MBTA. Because Holden is next to Worcester, Holden is part of that. Where Rutland is next to Holden, we're not. But if Holden brings it in and starts paying for it, then I believe we get nailed. It's always one town out, and there is Holden on there.
So you're saying, Dick, if Holden accepts himself to be an MBTA town,
correct,
that would be a domino effect to us?
Yes, if all of a sudden, Holden starts having buses coming in, and then it automatically go to the next town.
Yeah. All right.
Holden used to have buses.
Yes, they did.
Yep.
Then they stopped. Well, Rutland did too way back when. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think you were born yet, Norm.
Well,
I knew I wasn't.
Somehow or other, I still remember a Rutland bus, but I don't think it was a regular city bus.
No, it wasn't.
It was a school bus.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
It was a small company that ran a bus line from Rutland through Holden into Worcester.
Yeah.
Well, Maryland, if we put our retail marijuana facility up, we might have a bus needed.
Yeah.
Right.
Honey Fun, they made the comment last night in a select board meeting, if the retail marijuana goes up across from the Honey Farms facility, Tula's is going to get real busy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right. Well,
Okay.
This is something that we're going to have to keep a finger on.
And you know what? That's why we hired the big guy sitting in the big office making the big bucks.
Yes.
I'm hoping he's making enough bucks.
Okay, number 13, conflict of interest training.
I did it. I sent it to Anita. I'm done.
Okay.
Wow.
We'll have them. She did say this morning she's going to send out probably another blurb to those that haven't.
And I won't. Because
Dick.
it says in the, it does not say shall. It does not say shall.
Uh-huh.
And
All right,
therefore,
Dick.
Ow.
If I catch you getting those Red Sox ticket, I'm narking on you.
Dick, do the words "you are a municipal employee" required to acknowledge receipt?
That's a receipt of the information, period.
Yeah.
I will not.
And complete the online training program.
No, you read the law did not say shall. Did you read the law?
I have not scanned the law anytime recently.
All right, we'll scan it and you'll.
Norm, this sort of segues into a question I had with this conflict of interest. I know there's been talk, and I know Ron's off the line now, but I wasn't excited it was either this select board, I think it was the last select board meeting, where if there were a conflict of interest, and Peter, you might even have brought it up, legitimately my entire email file could be subpoenaed. So I guess what I'm asking for, and I said, Dave, I was going to send a Gmail account to him, and I'm like, no, I think it's time that the town ponies up an email address for me so I can do official town business. So that's my opinion. I think the five of us should be getting email addresses that's associated with the town. We're elected officials.
Well,
it's just my opinion.
Bring it up to the finance committee.
Well, I've got another one for that for you too.
Hello?
Yep, there's Sean. I hear you.
Okay, we have our own budget or something like this?
I missed you.
I remember you saying something about license of Microsoft or Windows or we have our own budget. It's something I think that we could do on our own.
Can't hear you, Sean.
Sean, we're getting about every other half word.
Let me, hey, Sean, here's some advice. Turn off your video and then just try using audio and see if that helps.
Does that work?
I heard you.
No. Who's the chat?
Hold up a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not hearing you.
No.
Yet. Can you hear me now?
You're in and out on your words. You're losing like half a syllable on every word. Nope.
Oh, well.
I guess what I was saying, Norm, is this a request that we can make through the town administrator and then let him put it in the budget?
I don't know. He might take it out of our administrative account.
That's another issue we're going to talk about. I like the word "our" administrative account. I wanted to reiterate that.
Yeah.
And then after last night's select board meeting, I was pretty wound up that if we're going to have we're going to spend $5,000 on a new admin, I want my $1,000. So that's my spiel, and I'm sticking with it.
Okay. I do have to kind of laugh about this notice on conflict of interest. It doesn't even give you the address of where to go.
Oh, you're right. I actually used Karen's because she had to do it for FICOM, so I just...
Interesting. Anyway. It's available. I don't think it's too hard.
No, it takes about 35 minutes.
So.
Sean, did you say something?
You can hear me now?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing we have on the agenda, annual reports of the planning board and planning office. And I can't say that I read over the whole thing, word for word, but Dave has sure made it sound like we're doing a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And back on page 1, I'm on the RDIC also.
Oh, so am I.
Well, you're listed.
Okay.
Related committee and commission members.
All right, thanks for that, Dick. I missed that. I'll see if I can get it revised and sent. I'm not sure that they'll accept it at this point, but I'll try.
Okay.
And I don't really care, but technically I'm also on the solar committee,
Okay.
if there is one.
Oh, same here.
Yes.
Okay. I'll do what I can. I apologize for that.
Don't.
Next page, division administration or others. Oh, yeah, others. Involved in minor administration of Milliken Brook, Brittenell Estates, but I don't see Noble Hill or McAllister listed.
Was there any activity that the board did with respect to those last year?
Hopefully to sign extensions.
No, let me rephrase that. Sign the last extension.
Yeah.
I mean, I took a look in the minutes. I mean, on the agendas, and I didn't see that. If that's there, I can add it. I still accept it.
You know, I don't think. I mean, yeah, I'm okay if we don't.
Yeah.
Well, be careful because you don't want it to be. Well, Noble Hill is all set, but McAllister, you know, special permits and everything else has been extended for quite some time. We could be up the creek if he says it's constructively approved.
Yeah, that should be. No, I'll be quiet. I'm not saying.
Well, I know what you're saying, but you know, let's just. It's there and it's been talked about several times in the past as being some subdivisions that are still on record.
Yeah, and Dick, and Norm, I guess the whole board, that's where my comment, even though I was joking, I was dead serious. I'm done with the extensions. If it's not getting built, then rescind it and come back to us. We've given so many extensions that I'm basically done with it. Let's rescind them, and that's it.
Well, now that we have some new regulations, you're right.
I think that might be easier said than done.
I know. I think we got to start the process, and I think it's coming up this May, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. It might be 2022, but
anyway.
No sense.
Okay, anything else on the annual reports? They look pretty good to me.
Yes, it is. Very detailed.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to put a line item at the bottom, basically giving Dave credit. I mean, I'm dead serious, giving him credit for putting this together.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this was a phenomenal report. I need his boss to know of the how the planning board appreciates and gives him kudos for doing this.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I don't need any particular credit. I mean, this is just a way to, you know, account for what the office and the planning board has done over the past year. You know, just like we did the year before that, to try to put some kind of flesh on it. Instead of just listing out like 30 special permits, to try to provide a bit more detail. You know, should the community be interested in what's actually happening? You know, so that's really the spirit that this was done in.
Dave, I'm trying to get you a raise, man.
Well, thank you.
I'm looking at the last page of planning board, and it does say submitted by Rutland Planning Board.
Yep, and see, that's what I was thinking. We should, I don't care, submitted by Rutland Planning Board, and then below that, prepared by David George.
Yes, I'd buy that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I think that's a good idea.
I'll add that to the change if they still will accept it, you know, with the other changes then.
Good.
If they don't, go write it in.
Yeah. Okay, it's definitely witching hour. Do we have anything else to come before the board?
One last thing, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Dick, you're wrong.
I'm wrong, can't be, never.
MGL Chapter 268A, Section 28 says, in part, every state, county, and municipal employee shall ... complete the online training program.
No, that's not the way I read it.
Stupid words.
Hey, Norm, the only thing I wanted to bring up was, have you had, or are you going to have any meetings with the FICOM as, you know, the planning board coming up? Usually they schedule you in and stuff like that for budget season.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know. Probably.
All right, the boss of the assistant boss of the FICOM's in bed, so I can't answer that question. But I had 2 points. One, I seriously, I don't agree with what's going on with the select board, but anyhow, it's a different story. But I don't think, even though I made the comment, we should get an update. But knowing where the town's financial is, I don't mind taking a hit this year and leaving it where it's at. Second one is that we need to have control of our budgets in our planning board, and that's as far as I want to go with that. So I don't want anybody else taking control of our funds that we have in our budgets. I'll stop there.
That could be a toughie.
Well,
what do you mean it's a toughie?
And again, I don't know state law, but as elected officials, I don't think other employees or bosses have control over our budgets, or our budget, I should say. Because it's a revolving fund. It's a completely different set of regulations than just a budget.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
According to the revolving funds bylaw, the planning board are the only people who are authorized to expend from the planning board revolving fund.
Those words ring in my mind all the time. And I don't know, I guess I guess I need to talk with Ron about that, because to me that does kind of sound like, to me, that, you know, Ron's idea is that there will be a line item in the town's budget to appropriate $5,000 from the planning board administrative account.
Not going to happen.
And that does seem to conflict with that language. Peter, do you agree?
Offhand, yes.
Yeah. The thing is, I feel,
unless the planning board authorizes it.
Yep.
Now, can we do something like that? Can we authorize?
What you do is you object to it being placed on the warrant if you don't authorize it. You have to object to the select board, basically, when they're placing articles on the warrant.
Yeah. But my point is, Norm, what I want to get at, if that plan, if that's coming in place, because it's our budget, to Peter's point, I would expect the individual who wants to do that will come either talk with you or bring it before the planning board.
Well, Ron has already talked with me.
Okay, so he has. All right.
Okay.
Not with the rest of us.
No, not with the rest of the board. And it's, well, I don't know. Maybe I was incorrect in telling Ron that I was okay with him doing that without first consulting the board.
Yeah, I'm not.
Are all monies spent from that fund done by vote of the entire planning board?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much the magic question.
Mm-hmm. So, well, we don't formally vote any of it.
So that suggests that a vote of the planning board is unnecessary if the chair approves, is what it sounds like. That sounds like the precedent to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not being involved, this is not my issue. I'm not trying to take over anything. I'm just my interpretation.
Mm-hmm. But again, you know, just to once again, to keep all our ducks in a row, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea for us to formally vote that amount of money.
Yeah, can I ask what he intends to use it for?
Dave's pay.
Well, he just gave Dave's pay away to his new secretary. I'm sorry, but that's how I see it.
Not that I know.
He just got the select board to give an extra $5,000 out of a town budget that's already $405,000 in the hole. So I see that's his problem.
Uh-huh.
And you know, and again, if this comes down to losing Dave, I'll give the $5,000 away in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's the town's responsibility, because our agreement with Margaret back in the day was we would finance Dave for, I think, 2 or 3 years. We subsidize, and then the town would take over.
Well, yeah. The thing is, we didn't have an ironclad schedule for that.
Okay. Well,
you know, there were no details, and there was absolutely nothing in writing.
Okay. Well, I'm frustrated because last night in the select board, the town select board and the administrator gave away $5,000, and then you're coming to my board and asking for $5,000 to pay for another employee. Not in these fiscal years. I'm not buying it. Now again, if we get put in a corner where, well, we just can't pay Dave, then I'm going to walk away. But I'm not walking away without a good argument, because I'm miffed about what happened last night. So that's my opinion. You guys, I'll shut up and let you guys talk.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is Zoom, so I'm not going to say what I'd like to say.
I think that we should address that, though, because I don't like the precedent that somebody can just come in and say, okay, you're going to do this with your budget.
Mm-hmm. Well, would it satisfy you if we did formally vote to allow $5,000 to be appropriated into the general fund for the purposes of contributing to the town planner's pay?
Specifically, yes.
Yes.
I'll make a motion. What you just said, Norm.
You guys are going to put me on the spot, aren't you?
Norm, can you just repeat one more time what you said?
Oh, she's still awake.
Oh, I'm barely there, but I'm here.
Like I say, I'm not sure if I can repeat. Let me see. A motion to allow the town to appropriate $5,000 to be placed in the
The general fund?
into the general fund for the purpose of contributing to the the town planner's pay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Hmm?
I don't know if you can do that with money in a general fund. Because Dave's
Well,
got.
well, you would actually do it to the specific line item and account number for the town planner's salary.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, Peter.
Who's responsible in the contract for his salary
The town as a whole.
Yep.
Yeah.
as a whole? So every board?
No, it's just, he has a contract with the town. Town has agreed to pay. Where the money within the town comes from is not spelled out in his contract.
Correct.
Well, I'm kind of in agreement with Norm. If the town gave away money without asking us first to pay for a secretary, that money that should have been allocated for an already employee, that's the town's fault.
Okay. Well, let's put it this way: that $5,000 was never allocated for the town planner.
Correct.
Yeah, from my what I think that it was done was that okay, I didn't watch the select meeting last night, so I don't exactly know what's going on, but it seems to me that they came up with the idea to pull money from some place to pay for this secretary, right?
They never said where it was coming from.
Exactly.
Yeah, see, that's wrong. No, I don't agree with that at all. You want to take money from something, that's fine, but you better, well, say where it's coming from first.
Well, I think this is all part of next year's budget. They're not taking money this fiscal year, is my understanding.
Right.
Yeah.
Even still, if it's for future.
Norm, didn't they already take money out prior to this?
Oh yes. Over this whole boy, I'm losing it. Over this whole past fiscal year, they've been taking out like $72 every 2 weeks.
I think it's time for an audit.
I agree.
Didn't bother to mention to us.
Exactly, Maryland.
Which that was our previous administrator's problem.
Yeah. You know what? It's for David. It has no issues with me helping out, but what really burns my rear end is what happened last night. Just making a bold call to add $5,000 to an admin salary. Haven't even gone through the budget season. We're still $405,000 shy for this year. And I'm irked with the fiscal irresponsibility right now. And again, if it comes down to somebody saying, well, we can't pay for David this year, we got to think of something, then I'll write the check, baby. I don't care. I'm not losing him. But I'm just so burned right now that I'm mad as a wet hen.
Tim, do we recall the $5,000 back?
I don't think so.
In the broad scope, Dick, with a $405,000 deficit, is the $5,000 really going to make that much of a difference?
No, what I'm saying is that they took $5,000. They asked Norm, and Norm did it. I know that Norm's been doing this some time now, but now if we voted tonight as a group to retract that $5,000, can we?
Well, no, because it's for next year's budget, right, Norm? It's not
they haven't taken it yet.
No, they want to use it for 2022's budget.
Did he ask you, Norm, or did he tell you?
We're putting you on the spot, boss.
Yeah. I guess I will have to say, well, here's kind of the way the conversation went. They have been taking out the $72 every 2 weeks. Okay. Which that in a way, other than the fact that I didn't know it, other than that, I didn't have a problem. I know we have to contribute to his pay, or at least I figure we do. And to be perfectly honest with you, just so that we have a little hold on that planner, I don't think that's a bad idea either. You know,
Yeah.
he's partly ours, so to
Right.
speak. Okay, we own $5,000 worth of them. Sorry about that, Dave, but like I say, I'm definitely going punchy here. I'll go through the whole thing. He said that he didn't like the way that was being done because Dave's full salary was not showing up in the town budget. And he said what he wants to do is he wanted to appropriate from the administrative fund a lump sum of 5,000 rather than the 72 each month, and put that into the general budget. And so that was the alternative to what they have been doing now. And I said, yeah, I don't have any problem with that change. Whether it's $72 every 2 weeks or $5,000 in a lump, what's the difference?
$200.
Yeah. That's, that's the way I was looking at it.
Or 31.
I was not looking at it in terms of the rest of the town budget at all. I don't know anything about the town budget, and I'm not really sure I even want to be perfectly honest with you.
So there is a precedent for the 5,000 taken out. It's just done in a different manner.
Yes.
Well, Marilyn, my problem with the precedent is we didn't know about the precedent.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, there is that, and there is, as Peter mentioned, that statement in the revolving account language.
Right.
That the monies can be expended by only the planning board. So, it does seem that somewhere we have to sanction that.
So I'm with Dick. I want an $1,875 refund from last year.
Well, in order to show them or to slap them up on the side of the face, hey, knock it off. How else can you do it?
Here's my proposal, board, is that I guess, Norm, what I would propose, this is my negotiation technique as a PM. I would propose to Ron, we can look into that, but I would prefer you go through the budgeting season first and see if the town can pay the salaries of their employees. If it comes back after you've dealt with the FICOM and you've put together the budget that is needed, we'll look into it.
That sounds good.
Give us some control.
Yes, that's what I was getting at. It's not that we won't, but I'd like you to at least attempt to work with a FICOM to work this out before you come to us.
Tim, you know the immediate response to that, don't you?
If it's no, then I'm
No. The answer will be you have just turned a $405,000 structural deficit to a $410,000 structural deficit.
And again, I would say, great. Well, then your secretary just lost $5,000, so now we're back to 405. Next question.
No, that's another $5,000 on top of it.
So we're at 415, right?
Yeah, you're at 415 now.
So if we get rid of a TA, how much money will we save?
$215,000.
Wow.
I'm kidding. Don't take me for that. I don't know. I don't want to do that. I just want. I believe you should go through the budgeting process for this year, and if you can't support it, then come to us. But coming to us first and basically using us as a bargaining chip with the FICOM, I don't agree with.
Yeah, but I like having something stated in the budget that we're, he belongs to us and we have some investment in you, and Dave.
Yeah.
Can we table this? When do we have to make a decision?
Not right away.
We could table it and put it first on the next meeting.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking, considering the hour and
Yeah.
a lot of other stuff.
Can you go back to him, Norm, and say that the board is discussing it and it's not a foregone conclusion?
Well, that's what's been kind of running around in the back of my mind. That maybe I need to at least, you know, clue him in a little bit, that everything is not hunky dory in Mayberry.
Yeah, and I apologize to the board. I just when I found out what happened, when I listened to last night and what was going on with our budget, I sort of went off the deep end because I'm like, hold it.
Mm-hmm.
You give a raise, then you take money from us. I'm just not cool with that at all.
So my question is, Dave, has this discussion been at all comfortable for you in any way?
Let's not put him on the spot.
I've been at bars too long. I'm reading that face really well.
The one thing that I would simply have to say is that we can be, and I think all of us can second that we all have absolutely 100% support for Dave.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And himself. So it's I don't know. It's some of it's starting to smell a little bit like politics, which I hate.
Oh, exactly, Norm. I agree with you, but I'm like, I guess what I'm saying is I think the board needs to put a stake in the ground and say, listen,
yeah,
you don't get to play with our budget. That's, I'm sorry, I'm being blunt, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And we have some backup from Peter.
We got a bylaw that tells him no.
Yeah. And I think if I have, assuming I have some kind of a discussion with him, I think the basis of everything I would say is going to be in the language of the revolving fund bylaw.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Right. Exactly.
That's the basis of everything.
Right.
And if we can, assuming we can find a way to work around it, fine. And like I say, the one thing I'm sorry, Tim, but I'm not gonna get into is
I don't want you to do that, Norm. I wouldn't. It's just my ear. I'm irritable about it right now. I don't think it in a conversation that's the worst tactic to bring up right now.
Yeah. So, well, I'll tell you what. Let's everybody think about it a little bit more.
Okay.
And we'll take a look at it next meeting.
We have to go back to the motion. I think Dick made the motion and then we never seconded it or voted on it.
And the motion was?
The motion was to allow the town to appropriate $5,000 to go into the general fund for the purpose of contributing to the town planner's salary.
Okay.
Oh, it sounds like Dick should rescind his motion.
Yeah, do you want to withdraw that motion?
I withdraw it. I have a question. Can you see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
all but the very top of your head.
Unfortunately, I clicked the button and all I see is it says scheduling made easy, and I don't know how to get back to you guys.
Is that really what the
We
website
see
is,
you.
Dick? Are you sure that's the website you're telling us? You clicked on something, didn't you?
The wrong freak. Pardon my language. All right, I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay, I rescinded the motion.
Okay.
Mika.
Okay, I got it.
So if I give a motion to adjourn, is that good?
Yes.
Second.
When does a Ford pass another Ford? Right now, because it's 10 past 10.
Oh. Okay. I'm not even going to call for discussion on the motion. Roll call vote. Tim,
Aye.
Marilyn,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Dick,
Aye.
Norm, aye. We are adjourned.